Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is L. Lauren, and I'm the author of the story you're about to listen to. So, this week's story is the next installment of the Hitman's Apprentice, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks.
Part 3. Orion buzzed around their suite Friday morning after breakfast, stepping over the snoozing hound dog and packing last-minute items. He found baby supplies scattered around the living room and bedroom. One bag was filled with pacifiers, diapers, and plush colorful animals. A second bag was stuffed full of toiletries, extra condoms, and lubricant. Ajax had taken both babies to the kitchen, while Orion finished packing for all of them. When he gave up on packing, he brushed his shoulder-length hair from his face and tucked it behind his ear and jogged down the hallway to Ty's room. Orion knocked on his door. Ty answered and looked Orion over. "What is it?" Ty. "Oh. We haven't officially met. I'm Orion." He extended his hand. "I know." Ty crossed his arms over his brawny chest. "What's up? You said you'd watch the children for the next few days?" "I did. I wanted to know where you would prefer to watch them. Are you going to stay in our suite, or should I bring them over here? And what about Boogie? Do you have a baby monitor?" "Oh, of course, but it's probably easier if you stay in the same area as them. Our suite has a kitchen, so you won't have to go far to make milk. You wouldn't have to get dressed or anything." I changed the sheets and everything, so it wouldn't be weird for you to sleep on our bed. Or I can make the couch a bed for you, whichever you prefer," Orion squeaked. "Whichever is fine." He lifted the corner of his lips in a smile. "Okay, I'll prepare both. It's nice to sleep with the babies sometimes, but other times you want time alone for whatever." "Indeed." "Yes. I'll do it before we leave. I'll do it now, actually." Orion shrugged his shoulders up to his ears. "Nervous?" Yes. "A little." "Why?" "You're an assassin, and you've been to jail." "I'm not one anymore, so you don't have to be nervous around me." "Yes, but I'm not sure anyone ever forgets how to be an assassin, do they?" "Probably not. Is there anything I need to remember about the babies?" Orion tapped his finger on his lips. Let me think." He chewed his bottom lip. "D'Angelo hates tummy time, but Christian doesn't mind it. So you'll probably have to monitor D'Angelo more when he's down there." "Tummy time?" "Yes. Because they have to sleep on their backs, tummy time is necessary to get them used to being on their bellies too." "Oh. How long they do tummy time every day?" "I wrote it down. I wrote down their general schedule. I mean, they don't always stick to it, but it's a guideline just in case you feel stuck or overwhelmed." "I'm sure I'll be all right, but thank you." "No, thank you, definitely. If you hadn't come, we wouldn't be able to do this." True. I packed y'all some food for your trip. It's on the bottom shelf of the industrial fridge." Orion's cheeks burned. You didn't have to cook us anything." "I know, but fast food isn't good for you, so I made some things." "Thanks?" "No problem. Let me know when y'all leave." "Okay." Orion's cheeks burned as he backed away from Ty. He bumped into the dresser beside the door. Whoops. With a pained smile, he shuffled out of Ty's room and returned to his own suite. He draped sheets on the couch and replaced the linens on the bed. He left the instructions for the babies taped to the kitchen counter. He sat one baby monitor in between the bassinets and presented the other to Ty as he carried their bags downstairs and loaded them into the hatchback. He reviewed a map in the passenger seat as he waited for Ajax. Ajax emerged from the building trailed by Ty, who had the baby monitor hooked to the low rise of his jeans. The man filled the door frame and tracked Ajax as he approached the vehicle with a bag of food in one hand and an ice chest in the other. Ajax set the ice chest down and opened the side door. "Hey," he rumbled. "Hi." He's watching you. Yeah, I know. He's watching you like you watch me, Orion corrected. How do I watch you? Like you want to devour me and keep me locked away at the same time. Orion folded the map and tucked it back in the glove compartment. He peered into the back seat as Ajax packed the food. There's nothing between us. Does it bother you? The way he looks at you. No. I'm not scared of him. Are you scared of anyone? Well, no. Not anymore. Orion smirked. I'm just amused for all of yours and his denial, you still seem to like each other. His expression sobered, and he looked into Ajax's eyes. You're poking your nose in shit it don't have any business in. There's nothing between us except bad memories and air. Ajax closed the side door and climbed into the driver's seat. Besides, I'm taken, aren't I? You are, Orion combed through his hair, kissing his temple, but if you wanted to, we could do a three-way. You're a little slut, aren't you? Orion shut his eyes as his skin tingled, and he glanced out the window, wrapping his arms around his torso and hugging himself. Maybe. I don't want us to get bored. Bored? I don't want us to get bored sexually. I don't think we're going to get bored anytime soon, Rye. I know, but it would also be sexy. You in between Ty and me. Would you let him fuck you? He has before. Don't see why I wouldn't now. Orion sucked his bottom lip. Would you let me fuck you? Thought we were talking about Ty and three-ways. We are. I was just wondering. Ah. Yeah, I'd let you fuck me. Next time we get another weekend, you could do the free use thing with me. You know, whenever you want it, it's yours. You remember. Orion squirmed in his seat. Okay. Ah. Yes. Ajax reversed out of the parking lot and merged onto the highway without inquiring about directions or a destination. Anything off limits? You mean this weekend? Yeah. Anything Wydn't like? Nothing I can recall right now. Ajax nodded. Well, if you come up with something, or I'm doing something, and you want to pause the game, we need a word. Right? What do you want your word to be? Red? Orion smiled. Red because if I squirm and beg you to stop, I don't necessarily want you to. Red means it's really too much. Ajax's nostrils flared, and he exhaled on a growl. Oh, really? Why, yes. Sometimes it's, I don't know, exciting to say stop, and for my lover to keep going. Aha. It's not rape, because I'm telling you right now I'm okay with it. Love, I didn't say anything about it being rape. Okay. Well. Orion folded his arms across his chest and crossed his legs in his seat, shielding a spark of excitement from Ajax. Okay. Where are we going? West. West to where? Stop asking questions. Ajax smirked. Okay. Orion giggled and peered out the window. It feels weird without the babies. Can't mention the kids. Oh. Right. Then, I'm out of conversational topics. Good. A pause. To clarify, I can do whatever I want with you when I want to, right? Orion nodded. His excitement sparked again. For the next 72 hours, yes. I can take your shorts off and spread your legs. I want to play with what's mine. Oh. Orion blinked. He lifted his ass off the seat and slipped his shorts down his thighs. He kicked them off, leaving his shoes on and spread his thighs. His cock already stood at attention, and he panted as Ajax wrapped a strong hand around his length. He rolled his hips into Ajax and moaned. Toys don't move, do they? No, Orion moaned, dropping his head back against the seat and locking his hips in place. Ajax stroked his length fast then slow, squeezing him in his fists and relaxing his grip. By the time Ajax pulled into a hotel 3 long hours later, Orion's cock pulsed with every tease, and pre-cum and sweat soaked his thighs and Ajax's hand. Orion moaned, hips bucking when Ajax's hand retreated. Hin! Jay. Orion squirmed, mashing his ass back against the seat. The muscles in his belly danced as he inhaled shaking breaths. Fuck Jay. In a minute. I'm going go in here and get us a room. You put your shorts back on, but then I'll give you the key and you're going to go inside and wait for me. Undressed? Just your shorts off. Orion nodded, staring after Ajax as he grabbed an identification card and a roll of $20 bills. Orion hadn't noticed the hotel in his haze of arousal, but as he shucked his shorts on, he absorbed his surroundings. With a precariously blinking sign and a row of ominous burgundy doors, the seedy hotel reminded him of the first one he and Ajax had stayed at. It also reminded him of how much he had grown since then. Ajax returned within minutes and handed the keycard to Orion. Room 1114. Yes. Orion tingled all over with anticipation, and when Ajax parked in front of their room, he stumbled out of the hatchback. Shaky legs carried him to the front door, and he braced himself against it as he fit the keycard into the slot and swung the door open. Leaving the door cracked, he placed the keycard on the side counter and fussed with the buttons and zipper of his shorts, clawing at them until he succeeded with his task and discarded the denim fabric on the ground. He scanned the room before sitting down on the bed and staring at the door. When 5 minutes had passed, he jumped to his feet and stalked over to the door, peeking out the half-inch crack as he bit the inside of his cheek. He gasped as the mountain wind assaulted the door, and he glimpsed Ajax still at the vehicle. He clawed at the peeling wallpaper before strolling back to the bed and sitting down again. Excitement and anticipation swirled inside him, and another 10 minutes passed before Ajax pushed the door open. He carried both of their duffel bags over his shoulder, the bag of prepared food on his forearm, and the ice chest clutched in his hands. He dumped it all at the door when their eyes met. Orion flinched. Hi. Hello, Ajax rumbled. He prowled over to Orion and grabbed the back of his head, forcing him into a hard kiss, bruising his already swollen lips, nipping them as he recoiled. What's your word? Orion groaned. His legs opened, and Ajax fit himself between them. Red? Good. Ajax dug in his pocket for a condom and rested it on the bed as he sank to his knees, spreading Orion's thighs further apart. He pressed one into the lumpy hotel mattress and pointed the other to the sky. Orion's cock slapped his belly, smearing a clear line of precum under his navel. Ah! He arched as Ajax slid his stubbled cheek across velvety skin and pressed raw lips into him. His tongue followed his previously traveled path, trailing up the length of his cock and then down again, past his balls to his entrance. Orion's back curved and his body twisted. His shoulder dug into the sheets as he hid his face in his arms. Ajax's warm tongue forced another moan from his lips. He relaxed into the gentle invasion, moaning with each pass of Ajax's tongue. His muscles clenched. His arousal became maddening, and his pulse thundered in his ears. Stripes of precum painted his stomach, trailing over his sides and pooling between the sheets and his body. Ajax chuckled and hovered over him. Orion closed his legs as Ajax released his thighs, and he tucked his arms into his shivering body. Nope. Ajax's voice was miles away, an echo behind his booming pulse. He growled and yanked Orion to the edge of the bed, grabbing the condom and ripping it open with his teeth. Ajax's fingers massaged his moist entrance before he replaced his fingers with his cock. The pinched tip of the condom flattened against their bodies, but the lubricant assisted his entrance. Orion opened his legs again, clutching himself and feeling every inch of Ajax inside of him. Oh fuck. He stroked his cock. Nope, Ajax rumbled again. He seized Orion's hands, knitting their fingers together and pinning them over his head. His body stretched under Ajax and their chests met. His erect nipples brushed against Ajax's hardened muscles as Ajax relaxed on top of him, trapping him under his weight. Ajax's thrusts were bruising, and his hips dug into the backs of Orion's thighs each time he pushed into him. His finessed thrusts sent a rippling effect of pleasure over Orion, bridging along his prostate and every hungry nerve ending along the way. Moans buoyed from Orion's lips, and he squeezed Ajax's hands. See close, he confessed. Nope. Ajax chuckled. Orion's face burned. What? No. He withdrew his cock from Orion and pumped his hips into the air above them, features wrinkling with his own frustrations even as he teased. I've waited for hours. Orion bucked under Ajax. He tugged desperately at his arms, struggling against Ajax's ironclad grip and colossal strength. Please. No, really please. He lifted his bagging hips into the air, suffocating his cock between their bodies. And you'll have to wait a little longer. Ajax slammed him back against the bed and sat back. A predatory gaze met Orion's distraught features, and Orion's stomach fluttered. Ajax's hungry gaze sent chills zinging along Orion's spine. Oh God! Orion bit the meat of his third finger as his hips ground against air. His cock greeted the sky with an eruption of anticipation. Jay, please? With his own arousal on full display, Ajax grabbed their bags, tossing their duffel bags into the closet. He emptied the ice chest into the miniature refrigerator and moved the pre-made dinners to the counter, stacking them with stiff precision on the back corner of the table. Orion panted. His shallow breaths dried his lips as his eyes tracked Ajax around the room. He pushed himself up, long hair falling along his shoulders. The first layer of Ajax's claiming marks muddied his tan skin. Are we done? For now. Ajax recovered a remote control from the drawer of the side table and collapsed into the standard-issue office chair, crossing his ankle over his knee. On shaky legs, Orion approached the bags. He unpacked his laptop, a folded laptop stand, and a ratty yellow-tinged novel before returning to the bed. Ajax stared at the television screen. His arousal waned, and his cock rested between his thighs, hidden from Orion's curious view. Orion flicked his eyes into Ajax's stony face before opening his laptop. He accessed the job site and browsed remote hacking jobs, and saved several before beginning an application. Shaking fingers typed his credentials in a separate window, pasting them from past documents until he had piecemealed a targeted resume. What are you working on? Ajax flicked his eyes over. Jobs? I try to peek at them daily, and apply to at least 3. Orion chewed his bottom lip. 3 easy jobs I can complete while we're doing other things. Ah. How many you found today? Ajax swiveled the chair to Orion and rolled it across the carpet. It butted against the side of the bed. The other man trailed his fingers along Orion's calf. 4, Orion whispered. His fingers froze over the keys, and he gnawed his bottom lip as excitement swirled inside him again. Keep working. Hin. Okay. Orion closed his eyes as Ajax adjusted his position, propping him on his side and opening his legs. He rested his weight on his elbow and pulled the laptop closer. Ajax tugged him to the edge of the bed, covered himself with a fresh condom, and fit himself inside Orion again. Damn, Orion breathed, hanging his head between his slender shoulders. Orion's chest expanded on a deep breath. Teary eyes squinted at the laptop screen. He watched Ajax through the glossy reflection, locking eyes with him and looking away with a soft whimper. Thought you had jobs to apply for. I do. Then work or I will stop. Orion stretched his spine and his eyes fluttered closed. I am trying. He rested his head on his shoulder, mashing the square keys on the keyboard with trembling fingers. I'm trying. He met Ajax's eyes through the laptop monitor again. Yeah? Ajax rumbled, biting both lips between his teeth as he focused on his task. Orion lurched forward with his next hard thrust and cried out. He writhed. Oh my God! His muscles contracted and then swelled, and his lean torso twisted. His blood pumped in his ears, and his vision faded along the corners. He focused on Ajax's eyes, on his possessive stare and the little quirk to his lips. He drowned in Ajax's satisfied chuckle when he ground his hips into the bed and provided his aching cock with stimulation. Ajax's rough hand came down on his ass, spreading fire across already smoldering skin. Orion dug his fists into the sheets, dragging them into his body as he scrambled for purchase. Ajax slapped his other cheek, and he threw his head back in a gasp. I can't. Oh my God. Can I come? Ajax rubbed his stinging ass and administered 2 more hard slaps to each cheek as Orion humped the bed. He soiled the sheets with throbbing pulses of pre-cum, and went from desperate struggling to petting the rough comforter when his muscles were too weak for more. Ajax reached between his thighs and grabbed him, ceasing his frantic movements and rooting him in place as he stroked him. Yeah, he gruffed. Come, baby. Ajax's steady rhythm stuttered and he increased his pace. He bent over Orion, kissing his sweating temple. His rough lips shocked Orion when they touched his skin, and his next thrust jerked Orion over the edge. Orion melted into his pleasure. He quivered, fucking Ajax's hand as his pleasure danced through him. His vision went white, and his orgasm overtook his entire body, shutting off his brain in favor of his primal needs. When his senses returned, Orion focused on the red blinking numbers on the bedside alarm clock. His position had changed. Instead of on his stomach, he was sprawled across the bed with Ajax's cock routinely thrusting into his impossibly tight entrance. His eyes rolled back in his skull. He was intoxicated by his pleasure, drunk from Ajax's touch. Fuick. Aha. I'm going to fuck you until I'm tired, and I'm not tired yet. The assassin was good for his promise, and he took Orion in 3 more positions, milking every drop of cum from him, until he climaxed with no prize. Orion gulped air into his lungs after the 4th position. Ajax slipped out of him, slapped his ass, and peeled off the condom, tying it off and tossing it in the wastebasket. Orion's body trembled with aftershocks. You thirsty? He nodded. Hungry? Ajax squinted at him. I could eat. Ajax nodded, popping one of the prepared meals into the microwave and lingering beside the machine. At some point during their session, Ajax had shed his clothes, and he stood naked beside the counter. His scars glistened under a sheen of sweat. I love you. Why? Because you fuck me hard and then offer me food. Orion gathered the blankets around his battered body, setting his laptop on the counter and leaning against the headboard. He winced as he shifted on his burning ass. I love you too. Why? Too many reasons to list. Ajax delivered the food to the bed, digging out a plastic fork and placing the reusable container on Orion's laptop stand. He prepared himself a meal before joining Orion in the bed, curling around him and picking alternatively at both of their meals. Orion smiled. Too many reasons? Name at least one. Ajax bit into a soggy dinner roll and chewed as he looked away from Orion. You're intelligent. And you know when to hide it and when to show it. Oh? Yeah. He turned back to Orion. His Adam's apple jumped as he swallowed his bite. For as rough as he had been during their session, Ajax planted a feather-light kiss on Orion's lips. Chaste and respectable. I see you. Ajax's feather-light kiss broke Orion, and he burst into tears. He dropped his plastic fork and covered his face as the rush of emotion rattled his body. Sorry. Orion scrubbed his wet cheeks. I'm sorry. You don't have to apologize. Ajax sat up and plucked Orion into his lap, wrapping strong arms around his body. Orion burrowed his face in Ajax's neck, coating him with salty tears as his face distorted. His sweet gesture inspired a second wave of emotion. It's just I dreamed of this, you know. Before the marriage, after the boarding school, I dreamed of having, a boyfriend. Orion sniffed through a blocked nose and sighed through his mouth. He hiccuped. Don't think you were dreaming of me, exactly? Well, no, not exactly. Orion roamed over Ajax's bare chest, kissing the rough terrain. You're better. Am I? I feel safe. And protected. Good. Ajax pet down his spine. So I have 2 more days and a half to fuck you as much as I want. Orion nodded. And whatever else you want too. It doesn't always have to be fucking. You're hinting. And no. Orion nibbled his bottom lip. Okay, maybe. I want to know what you will come up with. Ah. You want to know what other kinky shit I like? Why yes. Orion nibbled crunchy broccoli and carrots. It's a surprise then. You can't think of anything right now? Ajax rumbled, squeezing Orion's ass. Eat? Orion laughed, leaning into Ajax as he turned back to his food. Ajax wrapped one arm around Orion, holding him close. Over the course of the weekend, Orion experienced mind-blowing orgasm after mind-blowing orgasm. Between having sex, they relaxed with each other, cuddling and watching television with their legs intertwined. Orion begged for one more day, but Ajax packed the car around his pleas. Sunday evening they drove back to Jake's bar, stopping once for a quick session on the side of the road. They arrived at the bar well into the evening, after the late summer sun had fallen, and the moon had taken her place in the sky, illuminating the darkness with pale blue light. Can we leave the bags in the car? Orion turned his head to Ajax. I want to go inside and enjoy our last bit of vacation before Monday starts. You're insatiable. I'm not, but I don't know when we'll get another chance to have sex anytime we want. We'll see. I guess I can go for another round, Ajax rumbled as he turned into the bar and parked the hatchback next to Jake's old pickup truck and Ty's newer pickup truck. An unfamiliar sedan with a Montana license plate rested beside Ty's truck, and Ajax's eyes lingered on it before he climbed out of the vehicle. Let's go inside. Orion glimpsed the license plate. Montana? He quirked an eyebrow. Do we know anyone from Montana? He moved after Ajax, tugging his shorts higher on his hips. Ajax held the door open, and he stepped inside the establishment first. Patrons dawdled at their tables, and Ty wiped down the bar counters. No, Ajax rumbled. Meet me upstairs in a minute. I'ma go check on Jake. Okay. Orion floated toward Ty as Ajax abandoned his side. He leaned against the counter. Hey. Ty glanced up at Orion through thick dark eyelashes. Hi. How were they? They were fine. How was y'all's trip? Orion's cheeks burned. Fine as well. Where are they? I miss my babies. In the kitchen. I brought the bassinets down when it slowed after lunch rush, so I wouldn't be running up and down the stairs. Ty draped a dingy towel over his shoulder. Where's the monitor? Ty hiked his thumb to the edge of the bar counter. Did you have any trouble with them at the bar? Hardly. Just about every person who's walked through the door this weekend has fed or held one of them. Orion wrinkled his nose. Okay. I know it's good for them, but they're so tiny. And germs. Aha. Well, I don't know about the tiny thing, but they've been getting breast milk. Ain't it good for germs and antibodies? Breast milk. From who? What do you mean from who? Ty lifted his eyebrows. Who is feeding the babies breast milk? Orion's fingers drummed the counter. Mila? Y'all knew she was pregnant, right? Mila's here? His eyes narrowed and he stepped backwards. And she's feeding the babies? Yeah, she's nursing all three. She showed up here on Friday a few hours after you left, with her newborn bundled in her arms. She didn't know anything about Sicily, though. Ty shrugged. She said she would have come sooner had she known. A growl grew in Orion's throat. You should have called me. Why? It's Mila. I've known her for longer than you've been on this planet, kid. Ty's voice roughened. Because they're my charges. She's a stranger. I don't know what she's putting in her body, and then giving the children. Ty shrugged. Her baby's a little younger than the twins, and he's a big boy. I'm sure she's doing something right. Go check the kitchen if you don't believe me. Where is she? Mila? Upstairs asleep, I hope. I told her to take a break after she fed them. She's got them on a cascading schedule, so her baby eats first and then she feeds the twins. Then if the twins are still hungry, she finger feeds them with some formula. Orion rolled his eyes and walked behind the bar, storming into the kitchen. His anger dissipated as he circled the center island and saw 3 bassinets nestled in the corner. He worked his jaws, grinding his teeth against each other as he stepped over to the babies and crouched in front of them. Except for being noticeably bigger, Mila's child looked no different from Sicily's. They shared the same olive undertones over tanned skin, the same curly brown hair, and the same puckered pouty lips. His heart softened and he stroked their cheeks. "Babies," he murmured, resting his chin on his knees as he watched them. "Hi," a female voice greeted him. "His name is Bernard." "Bernard? I've been calling him Bernie for short." She eased down beside Orion, resting her sore postpartum body on the floor. "I told you never to come back around here, didn't I?" Orion's fingers fell away from the babies, and he turned his head away from Mila. "Why, yeah, but I had a baby and nowhere else to go. I needed to be safe." "Safe from what?" Mila shook her head. "Safe from everything, and the only place I came up with was Jake's." She sucked her bottom lip, tucking thick blonde hair behind pierced ears. "And I want him to grow up and be safe. I know what you think of me, but it's not true. You're looking pretty suspect right now. You turn up the very day Ajax and I leave the babies? How did you know we were leaving?" I didn't. Trav and Rain on vacation, Ajax and I away, and you pop up, pull at Ty's heartstrings. The pacifist. You knew he would let you in, and you snaked yourself back in here, Orion spat. I hope you're satisfied. Baby or not, I'm watching you. Unlike the rest of them, I have no problem kicking you out on the street. I told you. I'm innocent of everything. We'll see. Orion stood to his feet again. Take your baby and go. I don't want you around mine alone anymore. They're not yours. I feed them, change their diapers, and know their cries. They're mine. Mila glared at Orion, and scooped her newborn from the bassinet, resting him against her still stretched belly. You don't have to be so mean, she whispered, placing her hand on the baby's crown and shielding him from Orion's animosity. He returned her gaze, eyes leveling with hers. Until my family is safe, I'll be as mean as I have to be. What do you think you know? I know your baby isn't Ajax's, even if it looks like it could be. She squinted, clamping her mouth closed at his accusation. I did the math. You were claiming your pregnancy days after Ajax fucked you. You only just now gave birth. Either that baby's been inside you for well over 9 months, or what? I don't know. I can't figure out what reason you would want the baby to be his. Orion sucked his bottom lip. Is there a name for women who hang around assassins, hoping to get knocked up by one? Orion snapped his fingers. Oh yes. There is. We call them Milas. Mila shook her head, tears forming at the corner of her eyes. She pressed her chapped lips to the baby's smooth forehead and turned away from Orion. Her shoulders shuddered. Bee breast milk is good for them, and I have plenty. If you want me to continue feeding them, then say so. The woman rushed from the room, leaving the empty bassinet between the twins. Orion sighed, combing his fingers through his hair before following Mila out of the room and joining Ty behind the bar. The last of the patrons had left, and Noah strolled around each table, wiping it clean and lifting up the chairs. He turned them upside down and rested the seats on the tables, chair legs pointing to the sky. Iggy dragged a broom across the floor, dancing to silent music as he swept. He dipped the broom and spun it on its bristles, snapping his fingers to his tune. At least someone's happy, Orion grumbled, grabbing clear liquor from the back of the bar and pouring himself a shot. Careful. I just cleaned the bar top, Ty rumbled, tucking his rag in his back pocket and leaning against the counter beside Orion. He folded his arms across his broad chest and wet his lips. Listen. I don't know what's going on between you and Mila, but when she dropped in, she was a mess. I couldn't turn her away, even if I wanted to. Orion downed the shot glass. The liquor burned his throat and scorched his insides. He poured a second glass. Okay. She told me everything. About? About Brody, the fire, my sister. Everything. Okay, and? Ty rumbled. She said the only reason she was siding with Brody was because he was blackmailing her. She told me he blackmailed you too, didn't he? Ty lifted his eyebrows. Maybe. She told me about Brody's assassin group. Okay. All I'm saying is, you should let it go with her. She was one of us before you were. Her actions may not make much sense to you, but she's family. She's welcome here. Fine. Orion's shoulders sagged, and he exhaled a long, wavering breath. I don't think she'd kill my sister or Ricky. I don't care if she flip-flops sides until the end of time. She wouldn't kill one of us. It's not her. I need more than a gut feeling. Ajax was shot by one of Brody's people. We have people surrounding us, and we don't know whose side anyone is on. Every time she's here, I'm afraid something's going to happen, and you have a gut feeling it's not Mila. Ty pinched his forehead. Talk to her. I'm sure you and her are more alike than you think. He plucked the bottle of clear liquor from Orion and returned it to its diamond home. Fine. Tell Iggy to stop dancing with the broom. Ty quirked his lips. Why? I'm enjoying it. He has a nice ass. Oh, okay. Orion shook his head. So you're single? Maybe. Ty handed Orion the baby monitor. I'm off baby duty. They'll probably want to eat in an hour, so you've got some time to make nice with Mila before they're ready to eat. Right? Thanks. Orion carried the babies in their bassinets upstairs, while Ajax went back and forth unloading the vehicle, with Booger loping after him. Orion unpacked the ice chest plastic containers. Ajax collapsed on the couch. What's the deal with Mila? He flicked on the television and kicked his boots off. Orion pressed his palms into the granite counter of the kitchenette. He lifted his weight onto his toes and then rocked back down. Before he died, Brody told me she'd been working for him, and some of the people said they saw her hanging around the shelter before the incident. You think she did it? I don't know. Yes, maybe. If she didn't do it, she knows full well who did and what else they're planning, but she's tight-lipped about it. Or maybe she don't know. Why is everyone here so quick to believe her? She lied about the pregnancy. If this baby is yours, she would have been pregnant for a good, solid 11 months. Who knows how long she's been working for Brody, and we have clear evidence she was at the shelter. She's the only one out of all 3 of our potential suspects who for sure worked with Brody. Your only evidence is her working for Brody, and some shit a few people said? Her confirmed connection with Brody's group is a really important clue. Leon and Paolo, the kid you talked to, they're just, I don't know, strangers. I find it weird that they were the first ones to come to me. When it first happened, Leon was the first one to talk about who did it. He blamed it on Mila. Then you talked to Paolo in the park, and he blamed it on Leon. Mila blamed it on Paolo at the funeral. The funeral? Ajax's eyes shot up. Orion clenched his jaws. Why, yes. She was there. Pregnant, of course. Oh. Ajax flipped the channels on the television. The moving pictures reflected in his brooding eyes. If she says it's Paolo, then it's Paolo. How is it so simple for you? She lies. About everything. She's a whore. And she says it's Paolo, so we believe it. She wouldn't lie about this. Oh my God, you too? No, we're not taking the word of the most flaky, unreliable person around here. Rain and I are going to talk it through with all the evidence we gained at the reception. The answer is in the evidence. Fine. A big waste of time, but fine. It's not a waste of time. How can you feel so safe around Mila knowing she worked with Brody? Ajax shrugged. Well, you just told me, so Mila's not the only liar around here, is she? I didn't tell you because, Orion shook his head. It doesn't matter. Ajax stood up, approaching Orion. He kissed his forehead. Get to know her before you write off everything she says. Don't let your jealousy cloud your vision. I'm not jealous, Orion scoffed. Ajax chuckled, kissing his cheek. Good. You shouldn't be. Good, because I'm not. Good. Ajax's dark eyes sparkled. I owe you something, don't I? He kissed Orion's neck, placing his hands on either side of the smaller man's body. Yes. Orion's cheeks burned, and he roped his legs around Ajax. Except it's probably time for the babies to eat. Ajax bit Orion's neck. Is it? Why yes. I am going to go find Mila. She offered to feed them. You don't have to hang around if you don't want. I ain't bothered by watching her feed. Orion shrugged a shoulder. We can't both be awkwardly watching her as she does it. I won't be watching. Jay. Ajax smiled, kissing Orion before retreating. All right. You go get Mila. Then I'll find Jake. Orion nodded, slipping past Ajax and grabbing the baby monitor. He walked down the hall, knocking on the only ajar room with a bassinet and soft music playing. Mila? He pushed the door farther open. She twisted around from a seat on the floor, holding her snoozing baby in her arms and putting her finger to her lips. Her blonde hair fell around her shoulders, and a shy smile touched her face. If you're still offering. She nodded. I am. I'm sorry about earlier. She nodded again. I brought the baby monitor, so you can hear him from our room if you wanted it. He extended the plastic audio receiver to her. Thank you. She lowered the baby into the bassinet. Bernie kicked his legs and screwed up his sleepy features before they relaxed again. He's a good baby, she murmured. He's gorgeous. Whose? Mila shook her head. Not Brody's. Not Ajax's. She shook her head again, massaging his tiny pink fingers. She set the baby monitor by the bassinet and accompanied Orion back to his room. Orion propped the other monitor on the dresser and sat down on the bed. A soft hum of static played from the monitor. Mila scooped the lightly snoozing babies into her arms and took a place on the bed. She adjusted the babies, balancing them over her lap and petting their heads. Parenting books say you should wake babies for feedings. I know. I prefer it over them crying. If they're crying, you've waited too long. Orion shrugged. Right. She unbuttoned her top and unlatched the center portion of her bra. Orion wrinkled his eyebrows, glancing around the room as she nestled them beside her, adjusting her hold on them until they latch. How does it feel? Nursing? Mila chewed the inside of her cheek. Weird, painful, but good. The nipple part hurt at first, but eventually it's more of a sweet relief. The let-down part is hard to describe. A tingling warm draw, I guess. Orion nodded, tucking his hands between his thighs. He sighed, dragging his eyes back to her after studying the faded wallpaper pattern. I think it's best they know how to take a bottle as well. And yours too. We can raise them all together. It's the smartest option in this case. You're right. Orion sighed again. Did you care for him? Who, Ajax? Orion nodded. No. I mean, he's fun. Mila's cheeks filled with color, but it was always just fun. Nothing more. Did you care for Brody? No. Anyone? Mila turned her head away. No one you've met. Orion pursed his lips and tilted his head, squinting at her. I've met Ty. Is he one of us? Yeah. Chris? No. Hunter. A little smile touched Mila's face. Spill. There's nothing to tell. And you will keep your pretty mouth shut. Okay. Orion smirked. I'm sorry for being so harsh. Brody said you were working for him. The last time I met someone working for Brody, Ajax got shot. I get it. This life is dangerous. We get overlooked because they think we're weaker. It's annoying, but we can move around easier. It's a gift in a way. Yes. D'Angelo pulled away from Mila's nipple first, and Orion scooped him into his arms. He supported the baby's weight with his forearm and rubbed his back. How much do you know about Brody's group? Orion asked. He didn't tell me very much. Ask me questions and I'll answer what I can. How many are in his group? Not including you and John. Maybe 3 more. Why did he make his own group? He hated Ajax. I don't know why though. Once D'Angelo burped, Orion offered him back to Mila. She positioned him for nursing again. Do you really think it was Paolo? Ajax and Ty want me to believe you, but I need more. I need facts. I do, but I don't have facts. Okay, what's your evidence? Paolo was there for weeks, gaining everyone's trust. In a sense, he took over when Brody died. I don't know what all Brody taught him, but even if he wasn't the one who started the fire, he's not someone to ignore either. What about Leon? Do you know him? Mila looked down at the babies. I do. Tell me about him. He's a grunt like John. He told me you started the fire. He swore on it. Were you around when the fire started? No. I mean, yeah. Of course I was around. I grew up in the shelter, and I hadn't seen Ricky in ages. Why not? Busy. Her teeth clamped down on her bottom lip. And I didn't want to make waves with Brody. I know it seems stupid now, but… Brody. Why did you join him, anyway? It wasn't my choice, she confessed. Puffs of airy breath tousled Christian's curly hair. The static noise of the baby monitor stopped, and Mila flicked her blue eyes to Orion, and then to the monitor. What's it doing? Alarm crept into her voice, and the babies latched onto her nipples squirmed. Their tiny fists punched and kneaded her doughy flesh. It happens. Hold on. Orion grabbed the monitor and twisted the dial until it clicked. He turned it over in his hands, removing the battery cover and the batteries. After cradling the batteries in his hands for 30 long seconds, he fit them back into the monitor, snapping the cover back on. He turned the monitor on, again. Silence. Mila stared at the taciturn monitor. Why isn't it working? I don't know. Let me try again. Should we check on the baby? Orion chewed his bottom lip, squinting. I don't know. He's only a door or 2 down, and I don't hear any crying. Plus, if he had started crying, someone would have gotten him and not left him there, right? Right, but if the monitor isn't working, we should bring him in here. We can, or I can go sit with him while you finish up feeding. Mila nodded. You can sit with him. I trust you. All right. I'll see if I can fix the monitor while I'm in there. Perfect. A smile graced Mila's lips. You know, when I was a child, I always dreamed of being a mother. I know it's cliché, but I wanted at least 5 kids. I wanted all of the other women to have children at the same time, so we could all raise them together. Me, Rain, Kai, and Cicely. I thought it would be amazing. It's not cliché, Orion teased the antenna of the baby monitor. It's sweet. I have a big family too, and I always wanted the same. We're both kind of getting what we always wanted. He ducked his head. I'll be down the hall. Okay. He strolled down the hall, opening the door to Mila's room and stepping inside, tossing the baby monitor on the bed as he closed the door behind him. The mustache-patterned bassinet was empty. Shock glued his feet to the floor and robbed him of oxygen. A scream exploded from his dry throat, and he raced out of the room. Long strides carried him back down the hall to his own room, throwing the door open. He crashed into Mila. Where's my baby? She clutched Cicely's flailing babies to her chest. I don't know. He rushed to the door again, slamming into Ajax's solid body. Christian screamed and kicked her legs. Why'd you scream? Ajax rumbled, scooping Christian from Mila's arms and resting her against his chest, patting her back. Thick eyebrows knit together as he looked between the pair. Bernie, Mila's baby. He's not in his bassinet. We have to find him. Take D'Angelo. Mila thrust the other baby into Ajax's arms and buttoned her shirt. Ajax blinked. Okay. Orion grabbed Mila's hand and left the room. Someone has to have him. He can't walk. He can't even crawl. Let's ask Ty. They squeezed down the staircase, bursting into the main room of the bar. Ty? Mila's voice filled the stale air. Ty. Orion echoed her calls before they both spied two slender figures at the bar and a sleeping baby resting on the counter in front of them. They turned around at Mila and Orion's calls, and Orion recognized both pairs of eyes resting on his face. Himea, Orion breathed. Paolo. Mila squeezed Orion's hand. The dark-haired, fawn-skinned man stood, picking up the baby at the same time. He cradled the child in his arms. Cute baby. He's quiet too. Shoulda told me why had him already. A Cheshire grin touched his face. Orion. Himea jumped to her feet beside the young man. She tugged her sleeves down over her hands. Paolo said you sent him for me, and you wanted me here. The room spun around Orion. The midnight blues of the dimly lit furniture danced past him, and his stomach churned. Give the baby back. Totally. Still grinning, Paolo presented the baby to Mila. Sorry to scare you. He winked. But maybe y'all should keep better tabs on your family members. Mila squeezed Bernie as tears sailed down her cheeks. She nuzzled him, combing through his fine hairs and showering him with kisses. So, Paolo tugged his pants up, nice place y'all got here. Is it? Ajax joined them downstairs, free of babies. It's easier to burp them mid-feeding rather than wait until his voice dissolved into a growl when he reached Orion's side. His gaze fixed on Himea. Why are you here? He told me to come. She motioned to Orion, presenting her palm to the sky and clutching the long sleeves of her shirt in her fingers. He told Paolo to get me. Ajax turned his stony gaze to Orion. We need to talk. Orion bathed in Ajax's cavernous black eyes. I agree. He looked back at the younger pair. Get settled for the night. In separate rooms. Ajax looked at Mila. The woman clutched her baby more. Tears still wept from her cheeks, rolling over Bernie's downy shoulders and pooling in the folds of his plush back. Sleep in our room, Ajax rumbled. Orion blinked. No. You and Orion share the bedroom with the babies. I'll take the couch. Oh, okay. Mila avoided Orion's gaze. Ajax kissed the top of Orion's head and touched the small of his back. He rested his hand on Mila's shoulder and disappeared up the stairs. Orion crossed his arms, digging his nails into his elbows as Ajax retreated. I'm in trouble? Himea blinked. You told me to come here. Not now. Just get settled. We'll talk about it in the morning. Paolo saluted Orion, unfazed by Ajax's stern commands. He rubbed Himea's back. I'll get your bags out of the car and take 'em up to your room. The apples of Himea's cheeks pinkened. Sure. I'll go get ready for bed. Himea exited the main room after Ajax, hopping up the stairs with her raven hair billowing behind her. Paolo stepped out into the inky night. Orion looked at Mila. Is he okay? She nodded. I think I'm more startled than he is. Yeah. Me too. I'll sleep on the floor if you want. No, it's fine. The bed is fine. It's a queen. I don't have the tall bassinets like y'all do. Mila chewed her bottom lip. I never had a shower or anything. Oh. Well, Bernie can sleep between us, and I can send Jay out for diapers tomorrow. Orion's eyes hooded. With 3 babies, we should probably invest in cloth diapers. It'll save a lot of money in the long run. Mila nodded. I agree, and we can let them be naked too. Yeah. We'll work on it tomorrow. Orion touched Bernie's head, brushing his lips along his fine hair. I'll see you upstairs. Okay. Ajax kicked his booted feet up on the coffee table, as Trav and Rain deposited their travel bags at the door. Rain tossed her long black hair, drawing it all back into a high ponytail, and Trav rubbed his scorched skin. D'Angelo and Christian lay on their tummies on the padded floor, using their chubby arms as supports for their propped-up chests. Booger lay near them, collapsed on his side with his ears flopped over his face. He thumped his tail as Trav and Rain entered. You didn't wear sunblock? Orion lifted his eyebrows to Trav as he fit himself in Ajax's arms, relaxing against him. I tried. He tried, but I guess it was hotter this time or something. He's been looking like a baked lobster for weeks. Rain wrinkled the bridge of her smooth nose and sat down on the other side of the couch. Trav joined her, squeezing her thigh and stealing a kiss. Thank you. Okay, so? We need to work this out, like yesterday. Wait, before we get started. How was the trip? How was the job? The trip was amazing. I'm sorry we didn't come help with the babies, but No, it's okay. I told you to stay, and we had everything handled here. Ty's been an amazing help. And Hunter too, since he's finally here. I think once Ty shows Hunter how to run the bar, he's going to help Ellis with the inn. Probably. Ellis is his brother-in-law. Rain leaned her head on Trav's shoulder. The job was fine too. It was a simple intel job. Trav hacked into a computer network, and I had to get information to the client. Nothing dangerous. Good. Okay, so how should we work this out? Orion glanced back at Ajax. Don't know. This is all you two. I told you we could let it alone. I know, but I have a feeling they're not letting it alone, so we have to be on guard. Especially after the episode at the wedding, and Mila's baby going missing. I know it was only for 5 minutes, but moving a baby is a sure way to hit a parent in the heart. Orion paused. I mean, a parent who loves their baby. Mila loves her baby. She does, Ajax agreed, wrapping an arm around Orion's waist. He drummed his thumb against the smaller man's exposed hips and kissed his shoulder. So, is Mila no longer a suspect? I'm inclined to say no, because she was completely shocked and distraught when Paolo showed up. Do you think she could be acting? Orion bit his bottom lip. Doubt it. She's a terrible actor, and a terrible liar. She always has been, Rain said. Rain's right. It's why she's such a good fuck. She can't fake an orgasm to save her life. Gross J. He's right though. Trav laughed. But seriously. She can't lie. So then you think she's telling the truth about Paolo, Trav? Yeah, I do. I want to, but the evidence on my end is kind of pointing toward Leon. Rain winced. Where does your intel point? I honestly haven't looked at it since the reception. It's on my computer. Orion shifted his hips, grabbing his cell phone out of his pocket. Let's start from the very beginning. Okay. Rain agreed. She hopped to her feet and retrieved a notebook and pencil from her bags. Really? Orion fluttered his eyelashes. What? It's easier to lay things out on paper. Agreed. Ajax snapped his fingers. Easier but far less secure, Trav murmured. Anyone can find paper. Not if you write it in code or destroy it. I cracked your code the first night I was here. Sure you did, but by the time anyone not as smart as you cracks it, we'll be done with the information. Rain shrugged. So pencil and paper it is. Moving on, boys. Right? Orion rolled his eyes. Okay, so first thing is when we got to the shelter after the incident. Leon was the first person to approach me about who started the fire. He said it was Mila. He pretended not to know her name though. He said she popped up a few days before the attack. Rain scribbled the information down, under the header of Leon's name. Okay. I ran into Paolo after I talked to Guy at the park. Ajax looked at Orion and Trav. He pinned it on Leon. In what words exactly? Orion. Hard to remember, but the kid said Leon had been hanging around the kitchen and said he was making everyone uncomfortable in there. Then something about how he was raised to stay out of the kitchen. I think he's Hispanic, Orion offered. Okay, and? He can't cook if he's Hispanic? Ajax lifted an eyebrow. No, but I think some older generations stick to traditional gender roles. I don't know, I'm not Hispanic. I'm simply speculating. Damn Jay. Rain continued writing notes. And then Mila? You said you saw her at the funeral? Yes. She said it was Paolo. Dead set on it too. She said his name described him, everything. She's the only one who said a name. Rain chewed the back of her pen before adding another fact to Mila's header. Anything else before we get to the actual hard evidence? All four of them turned to Orion. He blinked. What? His cheeks bloomed with color, and he tucked his dirty blonde hair behind his ear. Why, yes. First, when we went to Ricky's place, it was completely trashed. Nothing of value was removed, so my guess is the person who did this wanted to scare us. You have no idea who did it? Orion shook his head. I did see Paolo at the hardware store afterwards, once we found Ricky's family. The girl Himea is Ricky's kid, right? Trav glanced at Orion. Yes, she is. I've been corresponding with her. Ajax blinked. Why? Because her mother was afraid she'd run away to become one of us, so I was trying to convince her she didn't want to. Except now she's here with a bunch of damn assassins, Ajax hissed. She's a child. I'm aware. I've seen her. Orion rolled his eyes. Okay. I saw Paolo at the hardware store. Leon was at the wedding. We all remember what happened at the wedding. Yeah. Mila arrived here with her newborn the same day we left for our weekend trip. Is the baby AJ's? Trav asked. I don't think it is. She was saying she was pregnant back when we visited you last fall, right? Yeah. Then unless Jay slept with her after that time, it's not his baby. Or unless she's part human, part elephant or panda. Why? Trav. Because women are pregnant for 9 months. They normally don't find out they're pregnant until about a month after they conceive. She has either been incubating a baby for well over 9 months, or it's not Jay's baby. So back to how Mila's so bad at lying. Damn, Rain murmured. Moving on. Paolo showed up last night with Himea, and he turned off the baby monitor and stole Bernie from his bassinet without saying anything. Mila was terrified. She cried almost all night and wouldn't even piss without taking him in there with her. Rain jotted down the information. Okay, so technically nothing bad has happened with Leon, right? The wedding? Orion asked. I mean, yeah, but Ajax caused the situation at the wedding because he has an inability to keep his hands to himself when he gets mad. Well, Ricky's place was also trashed and he was there. It could be a coincidence, but Ricky lived in North Dakota. Okay. Rain chewed her bottom lip. Okay, I think we can nix Mila. Whoever is attacking us is attacking her too, maybe scaring her or threatening her. The thing is, I'm sure she can act, but not when her baby is threatened. Women lift cars to save their babies after all. I think whatever emotions displayed there were real. Or what if they planned it earlier? Orion quirked an eyebrow. Why are you so quick to believe Mila's the bad guy? Ajax scowled. I'm not quick to believe she's the bad guy, Jay, but her hands are dirty. She's the only one we know who was working for Brody, for sure. True, but she's also the only one who gave a name to us directly, so maybe they don't know she's switched sides? Or maybe they had an inkling. Did you ever ask her why she came here? Rain interjected. She said she wanted to be with her family. Orion shrugged one shoulder. Nothing else? Was she bruised or anything when she showed up? Trav asked. I couldn't tell, but we got back Sunday night and she had arrived Friday morning, Orion said. Rain tapped her pencil against her pad of paper. Look. Mila's family. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Trav shrugged. Benefits of the doubt can get you killed, Orion shot back. Sure they can, but except for you, we've all known Mila since childhood. She's a slut, but she's got a good heart, I think. You think? Fine. If you're so sure, then we'll take her off. It's between Paolo and Leon, and since you trust Mila so much, are we making our prime target Paolo too? For now. Trav jutted his chin towards Rain. Let's review our interviews. Rain nodded. I'll start, but it's dangerously close to lunchtime, and Ty's a good cook. Okay. Orion rolled his eyes. Let's do your interviews, then go downstairs and eat while we do mine. Perfect. Beaming, Rain shuffled through her notebook, tearing out a page covered in notes. I interviewed Iggy and Noah, and I mainly asked about Leon. I was trying to narrow it down a little bit. So Iggy told me Leon started coming around after he got out of jail about 6 months ago. He mostly came for dinners, but occasionally he'd help out during the day. When I asked him about the fire, he said Leon was in the kitchen working the week it happened. She transferred her coded information to the new page. Okay. Well, I know we're not there yet, but Quiana said she didn't even see Leon the week of the fire. Right, I was getting there. See, the next person I interviewed was Noah. Or tried to interview, anyway. It was like pulling teeth getting information out of him, but he had a lot of complaints about Paolo. When I asked him about Leon, he kind of shrugged him off and said I was better off asking Zeke. Why? Orion's eyes narrowed. Because Leon. Before Rain finished her sentence, the sound of clattering chairs and splitting wood hit their ears, waking the babies. The babies added shrill cries to the commotion, and Booger bolted upright. He exhaled in a snarl, curling his lips away from his canines. Boog, stay. Ajax jumped to his feet, lifting Orion in his arms and setting him back on the couch. He looked at Trav and then left the room. He raced down to the first floor and paused at the staircase. The first floor was packed with patrons, but in one corner a fight had broken out. Ty and Leon were on the floor, locked in a brawl. So much for pacifism, Ajax snorted. He fought his way across the room and roped his arms around Ty's fury-filled body while Trav grabbed Leon. Ty's bulging muscles challenged Ajax's strength as the angry man struggled against him. Ty, Ajax rumbled. He received a snarl in reply. Ty stilled in Ajax's arms once Leon was quelled, tossing Ajax off of him and pacing the space. He bristled and shuddered, shedding the top layer of his anger. Get out! He stared at Leon. I thought we was friends. The corner of Leon's lip swelled. Blood seeped from his crooked nose. Get away from my family. Ty circled Leon, blocking him where he stood. His eyes blazed and his broad shoulders curved forward. He towered over the other man. Ajax rolled his shoulders. I'll escort him out, Ty. Ty's growl ramped up and Ajax touched his shoulder again. He turned his attention to Ajax. Make sure he's gone or I won't stop next time. Ty snuffed his anger and brushed past Ajax, snatching a beer from behind the bar and storming upstairs. Ajax looked back at Trav. I'll see him out. I got it. Trav twisted Leon's arms behind him. Ajax nodded. As Trav dragged Leon out the front door, Ajax turned back to the main room. The patrons had resumed their dining, but a crowd had gathered at the bar and empty glasses littered the counter. Shit. Ajax rushed behind the bar. He tucked an apron in the front of his jeans, starting from one side of the bar and working his way across every customer. Surly patrons returned to their seats as Ajax traded their empty glasses for fresh drinks. He sighed when he reached the last patron, a busty female with white blonde hair and light brown eyes. Busy night? Something like it. What you having? Another beer, please? She lifted her brows and shook her empty bottle. Same thing? Yup. She leaned against the bar as Ajax handed her a new beer. She popped the top off on the side of the counter and tasted it. Good. She handed him folded dollar bills. So you live around here? Nope. He tucked the money under the bar. Mila raced around the bar counter, her chest bouncing as she hurried. She plucked an apron from the wall-mounted hooks and draped it over her body. I can help, she announced. Ty's watching Bernie, so I can handle the bar for the next hour or so while y'all work everything out. The busty patron fluttered her eyelashes. She clicked her tongue and pointed at Mila. Oh, got it. My bad. She guzzled her beer as she pushed away from the counter, sauntering back to a table occupied by 3 burly, white blonde-haired men. What? Nothing. Thanks. Ajax hung his apron. You can have the tips. Are you sure? Yeah. Don't feel like counting through them. Oh well, thanks, even if you're only giving them to me because you're lazy. Can I make you anything? Ajax shrugged, walking around the bar and collapsing into a seat as Mila stacked all the emptied, discarded glasses. She wiped down the bar and then returned to Ajax. We have a new stout. It's dark and chocolatey. If I remember correctly, you like dark brews? Yeah, I'll try it, Mila. Awesome. Okay, be right back. Mila disappeared into the kitchen, and Ajax propped his elbows on the table. He rested his hands in his palms, massaging tired eyeballs. Mila sat the drink in front of him. Here. Taste it. Ajax opened his eyes and stared at Mila. He tugged the drink closer, leaning forward and taking in a deep breath. Smells rich, he rumbled. Yeah. What happened with Ty? I've never seen him so angry, not even before he went to jail. Do you know a guy named Leon? Ajax sipped the beer. Mila pressed her palms into the counter. Yeah. I know a guy named Leon. What do you know about him? He worked for Brody. He works for Brody. For how long? Mila shrugged. I don't know why. Ty got in a fight with him. He rearranged his face. The woman's eyes went wide. Really? Seriously? Ah. Yeah, really. What? Mila covered her mouth over a little smile before putting her arms behind her back. Nothing. It's just the idea of Ty beating someone up is sexy since he's always so calm. Right? Not really the point. Do you remember when him and Chris would get into it? As if it were yesterday. Ajax sighed, peering into the dark beer. Hated it every time. I know you did. It must have been so rough having 2 men fighting over you, huh? Mila teased. Stop. Does Orion know about your thing with Ty? Whatever thing with Ty is 1,000 times over. Because of Orion? No, because of Ty. Why are you even bringing it up? I don't know. I always thought you and Ty were a super cute couple. We were never officially a couple. But did you tell Orion about Ty? In so many words. Don't you have something to clean right now, Mila? Ajax sipped his beer again. Mila giggled. Sure. She moved down the bar counter as Paolo entered the main room with Himea and approached the bar. They flanked Ajax's side, and Himea sat down next to him. We have to take you home, Ajax tipped his head to Himea, before your mother sends an assassin after me. Is that an assassin joke? Because it's not very funny. She quirked a dark eyebrow, glancing at Paolo before back at Ajax. Yeah, old man, it ain't a very funny joke. Paolo grinned. He occupied the empty seat on the right side of Ajax, peering at his beer. What you got? Stout. He turned to Himea again. Why are you here? Didn't Orion tell you? He told me to come, and he sent Paolo to travel with me. How? She lifted her frail shoulders, shrinking in front of Ajax. I don't know. We chat through the computer. Ajax grunted. We're taking you home, kid. This place isn't for you. I'm not having an angry, Hispanic woman on my tail. I don't want to leave. I want to avenge my father's death. I want to find the person who killed him. Yeah, we're working on it. Okay, then I want to help. No. Why not? Orion's already started teaching me coding and hacking. He said I'm good at it. Avenging your father's death isn't a coding and hacking type of job. Fuck. Here's the thing, kid. You're not leaving this bar. Not even to go outside, not even to see the sunrise. I don't care. You stay within these four walls. You're not the boss of me. His breath strummed his vocal cords, producing a coarse growl. You want to repeat yourself? Look, man, I'll keep her safe. Paolo moved from one side of Ajax to the other, draping an arm across Himena's shoulders and kissing the highlight of her youthful cheeks. Yeah? You bout the last person I want near her, actually. Ajax grabbed his sweating beer. Mila rounded back to them, carrying a pitcher of foaming dark liquid. Let me top you off. She fished Ajax's glass from his hand and placed it back on the table after refilling it. Pow is nice, Ajax. You're being overprotective. No, I agree with him. Orion sat down in the empty seat next to Ajax, touching the small of his back. Himena wilted under Paolo's arm. Oh my God. Fine. I guess you lose one father and two more grow in his place, she snapped. Don't worry about it, baby. Assassins get real protective of their own, because they've done so many crimes on other people. Paolo saluted Ajax. I hear ya loud and clear. For your sake I hope you have. Yup. Paolo disappeared in the crowd, and Ajax turned back to Himena. Upstairs. You're sleeping right across the hallway from our room, and I'd lock you in there, but I heard somewhere it's inappropriate. Only a little. She folded her arms across her chest, jutting her chin forward and setting her jaw. Defiance shined in her eyes. Let me make something real clear to you. If I catch you and him doing anything horizontal, vertical, or with less than at least 5 pieces of clothing on, I'm beating his ass. We clear? Crystal. Good. Upstairs. I'm grounded? I don't know what grounded means, but if it means you're staying in your room, then yeah. Yeah, you're grounded. Fine. She rolled her eyes and stalked through the middle of the bar to the staircase, slamming her foot down on each wooden level as she walked to the second floor. Orion golf clapped. You're getting really good at the father thing. Watch it, you're next. Oh yeah? What are you going to do? Turn me over your knee and spank me? I could, but you'd like it too much, probably. He grabbed Orion around the middle, guiding him between his thighs and into his lap, and resting his heavy hands on the smaller man's hips. Leon's here. I heard Ty messed up his face. I thought he was a pacifist. Apparently not always. Did you send him to his room too? Is everyone grounded? Ajax tipped his head, chuckling callously. Yeah. Everyone's grounded. Ajax reached for his beer, dragging it across the counter and leaving a circular trail of condensation in its wake. He traced the rim of the glass. What are you drinking? Stout. Mila said we just got it in. How does it taste? Dark but good. Try it. Orion grabbed the glass and brought it to his lips, gulping down his first taste and cleaning the foam from his upper lip. It's good. He tasted it a second time. Very good, and I'm not even a beer person, he amended his first statement. Yeah. Ajax reached for his drink, but Orion yanked it away. Mine. Get your own. It was mine first. Orion flashed Ajax a smile. Dimples pierced his cheeks. You're cute. Ajax stroked Orion's chin and waved his other hand at Mila. She returned with the pitcher of beer and a clean glass, pouring Ajax a fresh drink and passing it to him. I'm glad y'all like it. Hunter can bring y'all something from the kitchen to eat. Trav already snuck back there and grabbed something for him and Rain. Hunter, Orion's clear green eyes sparkled. Why yes. Mila nodded once and adjusted her apron over her body. Eggs, bacon, toast. Good, good. She marched into the kitchen, leaving the door swinging behind her. Ajax sipped the new beer and looked at Orion. What's the deal with Hunter? Oh, nothing. Mila has a crush. He nursed his beer. A crush on Hunter? Yes. It's what she told me. Why? She's had years to get with Hunter if she wanted to. Ajax squinted and tilted his head, looking toward the kitchen entrance as Mila emerged carrying one plate of food. Hunter strolled behind her carrying another. Straggly brown hair framed his weathered features and his shadowy deep-set eyes, and corded muscles bulged from the ripped sleeves of an old plaid shirt. Hunter dropped a plate in front of Orion. Orion squeaked, "Thanks." "You're the one who called me?" Orion nodded. "You wasn't squeaky on the phone. Why are you squeaky now?" Mila passed Ajax his plate and hovered near them. I'm not." Orion's voice fluttered. Thank you for coming." He downed a few more long gulps of the beer in his hands, discarding it once the liquid teased the halfway mark. "Yeah, no problem, kid," Hunter groused. "I woulda come sooner, but no one bothers callin' me." His lips twisted in a crooked smile as he turned his attention away from Orion. Hazel eyes fixed on Ajax's face. "How's it been around here?" Ajax shrugged, spooning a mixture of eggs and grits into his mouth. "Brody's got a secret assassin group, and Mila's part of it." "You've gotta be shittin' me." "Nope." "Where's Brody now?" "Dead." Ajax ate another spoonful of food. "How?" "I killed him." Orion tucked his hands in his lap, hunching forward over his untouched plate of food. "You feelin' bad about it?" Orion rocked in Ajax's lap, swaying forward and placing a hand on the table. He braced himself, but his eyes swam in their sockets. "And no. Oh, I don't feel so good." "What's wrong with him?" Hunter arched a sandy eyebrow, looking at Ajax. "I don't know." Ajax wrapped an arm around Orion's torso. "Hey babe, you all right?" "Noidn't," his words slurred together, and he fought in Ajax's arms. His skin was cold but bathed in sweat, and he trembled. Mila's eyes grew wide. Hunter studied Orion for a moment, before grabbing Orion's drink. He lifted it to eye level, then dipped his pinky finger in it and tasted it. He grunted and did the same to Ajax's drink. "Something's funny with his drink. It tastes weird. That the same picture you been pouring from all night?" He looked at Mila. "Why yes." She nodded, extending the pitcher to him, as Orion curled into Ajax's body. Orion's eyes rolled back in his skull, and he collapsed into Ajax. Ajax patted his sweating cheeks. Orion cracked his eyes open. "Jay?" "Yeah." "I feel sick," he slurred. "Okay. You want to go upstairs?" Ajax combed his hair back from his flushed features. "I'll take you upstairs." He scooped Orion into his arms. Hunter sipped the pitcher of beer with a frown. "This tastes normal. Betcha someone slipped something in his drink." "Let me get him upstairs." Ajax hugged Orion close to his body as he weeded through the growing crowd and moved upstairs. He kicked the door to their room open. Rain jumped to her feet. "What's wrong with him?" "I think he's been drugged." "What happened?" Ajax closed the door and deposited Orion on the couch. "He came down, had some of my beer, and then within 20 minutes he was slurring his words and saying he felt sick. Listen. Watch him. If he gets worse, take him to the hospital." "AJ. We're supposed to." "I know what we're supposed to do. If he gets worse, take him to the damn hospital." Rain pressed her hand to Orion's forehead. "Fine. You'll out us all over this." Ajax fumed, worry spiking in him, as he watched Orion squirm on the lumpy couch. If he gets worse, take him to the hospital. I'll be back. He grabbed his cell phone and exited the room, slamming the door behind him and returning to the first floor. He honed in on Mila, tracking her movements before he rushed her. He forced her against the wall, punching it instead of her face. His fist punctured the drywall, leaving a jagged hole. Ajax? Next time I won't miss. The truth. Now. His lips curled away from his teeth, and his eyes narrowed to slits. I didn't do it. I promise I didn't poison him. You poured the drinks, you topped them off. You got a better theory? Speak fast. Ajax? Mila burst into tears, covering her face with her hands. I didn't. I swear on my life, on Bernie's life. I didn't do anything to Orion. Who was it then? I don't, Paolo. It was Paolo. She flinched under Ajax's crushing anger. He punched the wall again. Hunter, his voice boomed. Yeah? The man poked his head out from the kitchen. Find Paolo. I ain't your errand boy. Find Paolo, Ajax repeated, addressing each syllable the second time. He tore his predatory gaze from Mila and fixed it on Hunter. Hunter dried his hands, locking eyes with Ajax. The battle was brief, and Hunter looked around the bar, tucking a worn rag in his pocket. Fine. Ajax turned back to Mila. You best hope we find him. All you bring is trouble, Ajax spat. I'm sorry. Ajax, I'm sorry. She hiccuped, another round of tears washing over her face. I didn't want to work for Brody. It wasn't my choice. He made me. Her heart accelerated, and her pulse boomed in her flushed pink neck. Her tears glued her curly eyelashes together, and her mascara ran down her face, painting black stripes over her blotchy skin. Be quiet. You have to believe me. He blackmailed me. He blackmailed Orion too, right? His growl vibrated his chest. He said he'd kill me if I ever told. I was going to, I promise I was going to, but then? But then what? She rubbed her stretched belly. Then I couldn't. It wasn't just my life anymore. She swiped tears from her cheeks. I had to play by the rules. I had to, or I knew he'd kill my baby too. Hunter ran back behind the bar. Paolo's gone. Mila melted. Ajax's head spun. The corner of his eyes filled with pulsing red. Where would he go, Mila? Eerily calm words passed his lips. I can't say. She clamped her lips closed. Why not? The woman shook her head. I can't say. Or they'll know it was me. They'll come after me. They could hurt Bernie. They've already killed Ricky and Kai. Do you want some more people to die first? No. Then speak. Where would he go? Promise me you'll keep Bernie safe. Hunter shifted his weight, hooking his thumbs in the stretched loops of his faded jeans. Hurry up. We ain't got all day for this. All right. Mila's chest shuddered with ragged breaths as she calmed her racing heartbeat and relayed two addresses. They were on opposite ends of the country. The fuck? Hunter yanked a cigarette out of his pocket and put it to his lips. Great, now we have to go on a cross-country road trip to find their headquarters. No, come on. Ajax jogged upstairs. He entered his room again with Hunter at his heels. He cast a soft gaze at Orion, who lay across the couch with a towel over his forehead. Booger lay squeezed between Orion's immobile body and the back of the couch, resting his big head on Orion's torso. Ajax scanned the room. His eyes landed on Rain. Where's Trav? Bedroom? She motioned to the cracked door. Trav. Ajax's voice led the way, and his body nudged open the door. Look up two addresses for me. Trav jumped from nestled between two awake but quiet babies to his laptop on the desk. He opened it, fingers dancing over the keys as Ajax relayed the information. Where'd you get the addresses from? Mila. Hunter and I are going after them. Ajax grabbed his duffel bag from the closet and tossed clothes in it, ripping them from their hangers and balling them in his fists. Hunter lingered at the door, twisting an unlit cigarette in his lips as he stared at the two babies. Trav nodded. Got the addresses pulled up. What you need to know. Everything you got. One's the address to an empty field, and the other is a warehouse. The warehouse, can you get a live feed? Trav poked his tongue out the corner of his mouth as he hunched over the keyboard. His eyes scanned a black screen with white blocky text. Working on it. Nerd, Hunter muttered. He strode across the room, scooping Christian into his arms and touching her puffy cheeks. Her tiny fingers smacked his face. I'm in. Stay in. Send the feed to my phone. I can't send a live feed to a flip phone. I upgraded. Ajax zipped the duffel bag closed and slung it over his shoulder. I have one of those smartphones now with the screens like computers. Trav chuckled. All right. I'll send it. I'll keep an eye on it. Ajax nodded. Y'all got a plan, or are you going in there, guns blazing? Ajax looked at D'Angelo. D'Angelo smiled back at him. Ain't got there yet. Eye for an eye. They killed ours, we ought to take care of some of theirs. They got a shelter. Let's set it up in smoke. Hunter nibbled Christian's fingers. Ajax looked at Christian curling her fingers in Hunter's coarse beard, and looked at D'Angelo doing push-ups against the soft mattress. I don't know if I can do that. Why the hell not? Baby's making you soft? Ajax gritted his teeth. No. Aight then. We give 'em what they deserve. They take ours, we're taking theirs. Hunter deposited the baby back on the bed and looked at Ajax. Whose car we talkin'? Silver hatchback. Ajax tossed Hunter the keys and Hunter strolled out of the room. Ajax looked back at Trav. Have someone keep an eye on Mila and Bernie. Don't let them out of your sight. If Orion doesn't wake up in 2 hours, or if his pulse drops, take him to the hospital. AJ. Do what you do for Rain. Trav glared at Ajax. Ajax glared back. Fine, Trav grunted. I'll be back as soon as I can. Send me the feed. Tell Orion to call me if he wakes up before I get back. Sure thing. Trav spun in his chair. Ajax shouldered the duffel bag and exited the bedroom, slamming the door. Tears wet his eyes as he looked at Orion again. Booger lifted his head, propping his ears on the side of his face. You want to come with me, or you want to stay, bud? The dog pushed himself up, lifting his ears to the top of his head. He whined, then drooped his ears again. Stay. I'll be back before you know it. Hunter and Ajax drove for 2 days. They split the driving 12 hours each, only pausing for gas until the third morning. It was Hunter's turn behind the wheel, but the man had barely slept on the bumpy overnight drive, and Ajax was bleary-eyed with exhaustion. With aching shoulders and a sore back, Ajax wheeled the hatchback into a hotel off the highway with 2 levels, a blue and red sign. Under the sign, the message board read, Great Rates. Doubt it. Hunter kicked his feet up on the dashboard, smearing dried mud across the leather. Ajax twitched. Orion's going to kill you. If he wakes up? Hunter picked at his nail beds. He'll wake up, and he'll kill you. Ajax hissed, rolling the car into the empty parking lot. He parked in front of the door. Go inside and get us a room. Now I gotta do everything? No, but you're the one who can't take their turn, so get out and get us a damn room. This is why nobody calls you, all you do is argue. Yon the boss of me. Pretty sure Himea said the same thing. Hunter grunted, removing his seatbelt and digging in his pocket for his wallet. He flipped it open. You got some cash? Ajax rolled his eyes, handing Hunter several folded $20 bills. Thought you just finished a job. I did, but I ain't gotten paid for it yet. Whatever, man. Get us a room. 2 twin beds. Yeah. Ajax sat in the car, as Hunter loped up to the front door and inside. The lobby was as empty as the parking lot, with an older woman behind the counter. She looked up when Hunter approached, and as Hunter conducted business, Ajax peered around their surroundings. The landscape had changed from lush foliage to a desert landscape, with prickly greenery spaced far apart, mimicking country neighbors. Ajax pulled his cell phone out of his pocket and checked the live camera feed. The warehouse was lightly inhabited, and the few scattered occupants were sleeping. Ajax called Trav and nestled the phone against his ear. "Hey." Trav answered on the third ring. "Hey. How's Orion?" "Recovering, but still out of it. Whatever they gave him, it was potent. He's still feeling some of the effects, but he's getting there." "Can you put him on the phone?" "He's asleep. You want me to wake him up?" "Nah." Ajax frowned. "Nah. It's fine. How's Mila?" "Freaking out. She's insistent on the idea someone's going to get her." "The baby's all right?" "Yeah. All doing good. Rain's getting real attached to the twins though. She may be fightin' Orion for them." Ajax chuckled. "Yeah. Who knows, we may be all holed up in your house like some weird 6-person family." "Mila still breastfeeding them?" "Yeah. Everything's normal around these parts. All you have to worry about is this warehouse." "Where are y'all?" "We're about a half day out of town. Hunter couldn't sleep, so we're getting a hotel room." "Did you ever decide on a plan anyway?" Ajax thumbed the leather steering wheel. "Nope. Hunter's still set on his eye for an eye idea. He wants to plant something inside, have 'em detonate, and then pick off any stragglers who make it outside. Hunter was always a hothead." "Yeah. Don't tell me you're thinking about it." "I'm not." Ajax sighed. "I'm not. I just wish I had a better plan. Orion and Ty are right. If we keep this up, it's going to be more violence. It's time for peace." The other end of the line was quiet. "You there?" "Yeah, I just ain't never heard you talk about peace before." Trav offered a hollow laugh. "It sounds good in practice, but don't you think we're too far in it to make up some Cowboys and Indians peace treaty? What are we even going to do, allocate half the states to them and the rest to us?" "Dude, I don't know. I'm thinking. Shit. You want to sit at a round table like King Arthur and work something out? Stop talking about history." "Look, I'm just saying. I don't have answers either, but it's too little too late to talk peace. You're there now, man. It's shit or get off the pot." I know, Ajax groaned, rubbing his forehead. "Hunter's coming out. Make sure Orion calls me as soon as he wakes up. I'll have my phone on." "Aight. Be careful." Trav ended the call as Hunter yanked the passenger door open, handing one blue keycard to Ajax. "Trav?" "Yeah. I wanted updates on everyone." Hunter nodded. "Room's 202. He pointed to the exposed staircase. "Ain't even gotta move the car." "Yeah." Ajax slipped his phone back in his pocket and grabbed his duffel bag from the trunk. Hunter stuck his burly arms in a frayed backpack and lead him up to the room, throwing his bag on one of the twin beds. "I'ma get a shower, then some sleep. When I wake up, we can talk about a plan if you wanna." "Yeah." Ajax nodded. Hunter kicked his boots off, losing an inch of his height, and prowled into the bathroom, elbowing the door closed. A minute later, the muffled sound of water rushing through old pipes filled the room. Ajax dozed to its consistent hum, resting on top of the bedspread. He put an arm under his head, and his cell phone on his torso between the slopes of his ribcage. Hunter emerged from the bathroom. The fresh smell of steam and grassy body wash curled around them. "You sleepin'?" "Not anymore." "Sorry. If you want a shower, why, John?" "It's fine." "Aight." Hunter tugged boxers on his bottom half and climbed into the bed. He pulled the sheets back, tucking between them and burying himself. Ajax lay awake with his eyes fixed on the yellowed popcorn ceiling. Call, he murmured, telepathically sending messages to Orion. tired eyes finally closed after an hour of his incessant chanting. And his cell phone buzzed 2 hours later, jolting both him and Hunter awake. "Answer it," Hunter's muffled growls commanded. "I am." Ajax swiped the screen and placed the phone to his ear. "Hello? Jay?" Orion's weak voice puffed through the cell phone receiver. "Hey baby. How are you feeling?" "Better. Trav said you were close by the warehouse?" Ajax sat up, crossing his legs on the bed and resting his elbows on his knees. His stony features relaxed as Orion's voice caressed his ears. "Yeah. We're close." "Ah fuck." Hunter threw his sheets back and climbed out of bed, throwing on a shirt and a pair of jeans. He shoved his feet into his muddy boots and grabbed a keycard and his cell phone. "I'll be back." Heavy footfalls carried him out of the little hotel room. "I'm sorry," Orion croaked. "Nah. Don't worry about him. It's good to hear your voice." "Yours too. I miss you. I wish I could have come." "I miss you too. Feels weird traveling without you." "I'm worried about you. You're kind of an idiot," Orion teased. "Hey now. I'm not. I made it just fine before you came along." "Barely." The other man giggled. The sound tightened Ajax's heart. "I love you." "Oh," Orion paused, "I love you too." "Yeah. What's your plan?" "We haven't really talked about one. Hunter's not much of a talker." Do you remember when we talked about how this is a cycle? If we keep going, the fighting will never end." "Yeah, I remember." Ajax sighed. "Jay, I think you should really try talking to them." "I know you do. The poison in my drink wasn't meant for me." "I know," his voice softened. "It was meant for you." "Babe." "I know." "Then you understand why we have to stop this retaliation war between you guys." "I get it." "Promise me you'll talk to them." "What?" "Promise me you'll talk to them instead of going in with your fists and your guns. Promise me you'll try another way." "Right," Ajax groaned. "Promise." "All right. Fine. I'll try talking to them. We're all pretty sure it's Paolo who did it." "Does it matter who did it, Jay?" Ajax thumbed the frayed edges of the hotel sheets. "Does it?" Orion repeated. "Guess not. I will try to get more information out of Mila, okay?" "All right. Take it easy though. You're still recovering." "Of course," Orion purred. "I'll see you when you get back." Ajax grunted. "All right. Later." He ended the call and eased himself out of the bed. Stiff bones creaked under the movement, and he rubbed his shoulders with a groan as he made his way to the bathroom. He twisted the dial and drowned himself in the rhythmic pounding of water against him. It loosened his muscles and cleared his brain, and he emerged from his shower refreshed. He toweled over tight ringlet curls as Hunter returned. "Still got them baby curls, huh?" "I guess," Ajax muttered. "Where you been?" "Took a mornin' run." Ajax eyed him for a moment, searching his features for lines of exhaustion and beads of sweat. He found neither. "Okay. What did the kid say? He know anything?" "You could ask how he's feeling first." "Aight. How he feelin'?" "Better." "Aight. So he know anything?" "Not really. He really wants me to talk to them. He made me promise." "You ain't gonna keep it, are you?" "Yeah. I think I am. We didn't start this assassin thing to spend more time fighting with each other than earning money for the people who need us. This should have been ended a long time ago." "Oh, you want to be Mr. Good Boy now?" Hunter curled his bushy eyebrows together. A mix of confusion and rage colored him. "This would have never started if it weren't for you. It's your mess we've been cleaning up since before Chris died." He stalked around the room, pacing the brick and drywall confines of his cage. "I'm trying to fix it. You ever heard the saying too little, too motherfucking late. Hunter stormed up to him, his beady eyes locking on Ajax's. It's not too late, Ajax snapped, holding his gaze. Hunter bobbed in front of him. His hyena cackle reverberated in Ajax's ears. You ain't even got the balls to fix it, no how. You're a punk, and you always been one. Chris fought every battle you was ever in, and you ran off with your tail half tucked between your pretty little legs and let him. Ajax slammed Hunter into the wall, lifting him off the ground by his shirt. What did you just say? Anger steamed off him in puffs of smoke. You heard me. Ajax growled, releasing Hunter. His hands balled into fists and he pumped his muscles, leashing the rage inside him. Frantic eyes scanned the room before he stuffed shorts on his bottom half, grabbed a keycard, and tucked the keys to the hatchback in his pocket. The dewy fall air kissed his chest as he stepped outside, and he gripped the railing as he moved down the staircase. He flicked his eyes to the empty parking lot, eyes lingering on the one other vehicle besides the silver hatchback. Then he ducked into the lobby where the smell of overcooked grits and undercooked eggs greeted him. He browsed the food, piling hardened grits on his plate next to runny eggs and soggy bacon. He added an oversized blueberry muffin and a banana, and tucked a box of honey whole grain cereal under his arm. He sat on the hood of the hatchback as he ate. Hunter joined him after he'd eaten his grits, eggs, and bacon, tugging his jeans up his form. You ain't tell me they were giving out free breakfast. Ajax looked up at him through thick eyelashes, then he looked back down at his plate. Huh. I guess it slipped my mind. He peeled the paper off of the muffin and broke it into smaller pieces. Hunter glanced over his shoulder, eyes cutting to the left and the right before he fixed his attention on Ajax again. Well, I was thinking, maybe we should wait until tomorrow to go take care of this situation. It gives y'all time to work out what you gonna say. Ajax rumbled. We drove up here all day and night, and now you want to take a break? He squinted. Well, you insist on this lame-ass negotiation thing, so if and we negotiatin', don't you need time to figure out what you're gonna say? I'm sayin' we need a concrete plan, all. Ajax rumbled again, sticking the crumbs of the muffin to the pad of his first finger and bringing it to his lips. He eyed Hunter. I thought I was stupid for wanting to negotiate. Hunter shrugged. Yare, but if we doin' it, I don't want to look like some numbnut when we get there. Fine. Ajax snorted. You think they still got breakfast? Ajax shrugged. Hunter clapped him on the shoulder. I might go check it out. He nodded, looking over his shoulder again as he jogged toward the hotel lobby. Ajax sucked in his cheeks, tapping his foot on the aluminium of the vehicle before shaking his head. He dumped his plate in the wastebasket, taking the banana and box of cereal back to the room. He turned on the television and sat down on the bed, eating the cereal one piece at a time. It was past midday when Ajax noticed Hunter had been missing since breakfast. He shook his head again, this time scowling, and called Trav. Yellow. Hey, Ajax groused. How easy is it to track someone without calling their phone? Not very. I can dig up general stuff such as the numbers they're calling and a vague location, but nothing exact. What is vague? I could tell you the state they're in. For the callers or for the number? I mean, logically, I could do both. Hang on. Why are you asking? Hunter. I think he's up to something. Something like what? No idea. After I talked to Orion this morning, he's been acting funny. He's been looking over his shoulder like he's expecting something. Trav hummed, well, I'll see what I can find out. Give me a few hours, and try to stall him if you can. If y'all leave and get in a weak service patch, it'll be harder for me to trace. All right. How's the warehouse? Nothing abnormal. Really, nothing at all, if I'm being honest. The systems blinked out for a second earlier, but nothing alarming. It popped back on. Okay. Have you seen Paolo on the feed at all? Yeah, I saw him there a few hours ago. I saw what's-his-face too. Leon? Yeah, him. How many others? 3 or 4 others, I'd guess. They don't have a big group, which means they probably don't have much organization. Orion said, you were gonna talk to them? He wants me to. Talk like he tried to do with Brody? No, I think a little better than with Brody since Brody ended up dead. I don't think the conversation went over too well. Trav laughed. Fair. Listen. Here's a tip for when you talk to them. Don't use your fists. Yeah. Aren't you looking something up? Working on it. I'll text you the information in a few hours. All right. Ajax ended the call, ate his banana and left the room again. He wandered down to the first floor and walked along the outdoor railings. He turned the corner and collided with Hunter. Fuck, Hunter snarled. You need to watch where ya. He paused, looking behind him quickly before focusing on Ajax. I need to what? Nothing, man. Why you out here? I thought you was preparing your speech or whatever. Taking another run. Hunter danced around Ajax, clasping his hands behind his back. Yup. It's boring around these parts, so what else you gonna do? We could finish the job, Ajax hinted. Nah. You need to rest up. We should head out tomorrow morning when you're refreshed and awake. I heard it's the best time for negotiations. Hunter nodded as he spoke, head bobbing on his shoulders. In fact, you ought to blow off some steam. You real pent up. How about you hit up the gym? It's about 5 doors down this way. Hunter guided him away from the corner, leading him in the opposite direction by his shoulder. Ajax rumbled, narrowing his dark eyes as they reached the hotel's gym. And where are you going? I'll be round. Don't worry about me. I'ma hit a nap or something since you're here and not talking sweet to your man. Right? Ajax shook his head, entering the gym and surveying the limited selection of equipment. He passed one slender woman occupying a treadmill with her ponytail swinging behind her head, and a bookish woman settled on the exercise bike with a wide-bound book hovering in front of her face, and he approached the free weights. Can't believe people do this, he muttered as he lifted 2 20-pound weights. He planted his feet and performed 3 sets of bicep curls before dropping the weights. He paced around the free weights with his hands on his hips as his muscles burned. Raw fingers pinched the bridge of his nose, and he chewed the bottom of his lip. He grabbed the weights again, performing a series of squats and tricep exercises with short breaks in between them. After the last set of tricep exercises, he wiped the weights down and placed them back on the rack. A sheen of sweat glistened on his skin. Never doing this again, he resolved as his cell phone buzzed in his pocket. He glimpsed the name and answered with a smile. Hey love. Jay? Orion's sweet tenor voice chimed with anxiety. Yeah? What is it? Don't freak out. Aha. Himea is gone. What do you mean gone? Ajax growled. I mean she's not here, and we have no idea where she went. She took Jake's truck. She could be anywhere. How long has she been gone? I don't know. I've been so out of it, I have no idea when she could have left. You guys have to find her. Right, I can't. You have to find her, Jay. Love. I have nothing to go on. I can't find a missing teenager when all I know is she's missing. Well, she's only going one of 2 places. She's either trying to find Paolo or she's going home, and I really doubt she's going home. Why would she be finding Paolo? Ajax lowered his voice as he exited the gym and jogged back to their hotel room. Because they were clearly having sex? Stop. She's a kid. Okay, and? She is a kid having sex then. With that little jackass? He's a kid too. Anyway, Jay, you need to find her. I heard you the first time. How? How do you want me to find her? I don't know. You're the damn assassin. Why on earth would you ask me how to find her? This is your job. This is what you do. She's a child out there in the world, alone, chasing after her boyfriend. You have to do something. No, you're going to do something. Calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. This is serious. Okay. Hunter looked up from his bed when Ajax entered the hotel room, his eyebrows quirking into his sun-weathered forehead. Oh my God, Jay. This is all my fault. I shouldn't have told her I'd train her. I should have just told her no, like her mother said. I was trying to help, and now she's lost. It's all my fault. No, hun, it's not. She's a kid. Kids do things like run away and be reckless. I wasn't reckless as a kid. You jumped in the car with a stranger who killed your husband. Orion huffed through the phone receiver. I wasn't being reckless. It was self-preservation. Ajax chuckled. Listen. We'll backtrack and see if we can find her. No promises, though. Trying to find a red truck on the highway is like asking me to find hay in a haystack. Okay. Okay, call me when you find her. Call. Hey, doesn't this kid have a cell phone? No. She left it. Hunter grunted. Ajax winced. Okay, all right. I'll call you. He ended the call and tossed the cell phone on the bed. What now? Himea. The girl who came with Paolo's missing, and she stole Jake's truck. Well, he wasn't ussin' it anyway. Hunter tipped his head down, brows curving over his eyes. Except stealing is wrong. Look, I told Orion I'd look for her, so I guess we're holed up here for another night. A flicker of a smile touched Hunter's face and disappeared again. All rig. Hope ya find her. You're not going to help me? Nah. I ain't running around after some hot-in-the-ass girl. Ajax shook his head and threw a shirt over his sweaty body. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, Hunter grunted. Do something useful while you're gone. Look up negotiation tactics or something. Ajax slammed the hotel room door and climbed into the hatchback, reversing onto the highway and traveling back the way they came. Cursing as he drove, he eyed every passing truck. There were few vehicles on the road and even fewer trucks, so when a red truck finally passed him, he veered off on the nearest exit and turned around. He mashed the gas pedal, weaving through the sparse other vehicles until he caught up with the truck. He squinted into the window at a bearded old man wearing tinted sunglasses. With a snarl, he slowed down, driving well below the speed limit, until the next red truck passed him and he increased his speed again. The driver of this vehicle was a middle-aged woman with black dog hanging its head out of the passenger seat. Damn it, he cursed, turning around on the highway and starting his search over again. He abandoned the search once the sun disappeared behind the mountainous backdrop and the sky bled unsaturated blues and violets. He parked the hatchback in the hotel parking lot and returned to the room. A scrawled note from Hunter resting under the complimentary Bible promised his return in a few hours. Ajax stretched, showered, and collapsed into bed. He cracked his eyes open when Hunter returned well past midnight with bleary eyes and a staggered walk, but closed them again and slept until morning. When he stepped outside the next day, his eyes landed on an old pickup truck, and he froze at the door. The fuck, he grunted, approaching the vehicle and circling it. He peered in the driver's side, looking upon a dark-haired girl sleeping across the front seats. He tapped on the window, and she bolted awake. Her hair flew around her frail shoulders. She rolled the window down and gripped the sides of the truck. What? She groused. How many nights you slept in the truck? 2. How long you been gone, kid? Since right after you left. She rubbed her shoulders, wrapping an oversized shirt around her body. Yeah, okay, why? Her dark eyes leveled with Ajax. Because I want to help. It's my fault I listened, and he got close enough to poison Orion. It's not. Well, actually, it kinda is. She pulled the sleeves over her hands. I want to do something. I couldn't sit there and wait for you to come back, and you didn't let me speak. Speak about what? Well, she paused. I love him. Yeah, you're too young to know what love is. I'm not. I know he deserves everything he gets, but don't hurt him. He didn't want to be a part of all of this. He told you all this? Ajax leaned against the truck, rubbing his forehead and combing through his tight dark curls. Himea nodded. He told me on our trip. You believe him? Yeah. He made me promise not to say why, though. So let me get this straight. Your little boyfriend poisons Orion, almost kills him, and then you steal someone's truck and come all this way to tell me not to hurt him? I know it sounds crazy. I know, but what would my dad want? Ajax snarled, pointing an accusatory finger at Himea. Don't even. My dad wouldn't want you to hurt him. He'd want you to talk to him, I know it. Aha. Ajax yanked open the pickup truck's door. What? Himea stumbled. Let's get some breakfast. It's free here. Ajax sighed and lowered his voice, whispering to the girl. It's what all the real assassins do. Her youthful features softened. You're not mad? No, I'm mad, but we'll deal with it. Come on. Ajax led her into the lobby and stood over her as she prepared a plate of food for herself. He grabbed another blueberry muffin and a brown speckled banana. We're upstairs. He motioned to the staircase, directing her to their room. She ate on the bed while he sat on the office desk and stared at her. Hunter looked between them and his cell phone. They sat in silence until Hunter's cell phone dinged with a message, and he jumped out of bed and clapped his hands. Aight, we doing this thing or not? Ajax cut his eyes over to Hunter, studying the unusual grin on his face before nodding. Yeah, we're doing this thing. Himea gobbled the last bits of her food and rubbed her hands down her jeans. I'm ready. Nah, I ain't babysitting no kid all day. We're not leaving her here unattended. We'll meet with them and come back here. Hunter, you'll drive Jake's truck back to the bar. Ajax looked at Himea. You'll ride with me. Her cheeks flamed and she turned her head to the side, tugging at her wrinkled clothes. Okay. Good. Ajax nodded. Hunter, you're driving. It's still your damn turn from 2 days ago. They piled into the hatchback with Himea occupying the back seat and Hunter and Ajax in the front. Ajax drummed his fingers against the door as they drove, squinting outside as he planned his conversation. Hunter relaxed into the drive, with an easy smile still planted on his face. Oh shit! Ajax blinked, digging his cell phone out of his pocket and handing it to Himea. Call Orion and tell him you're fine. She accepted the cell phone. Orion? It's Himea. I'm fine. I'm sorry for worrying you. Ajax heard the faint murmur of Orion's reply through the cell phone. After another apology, Himea handed the phone to Ajax. He wants to speak to you. Ajax put the phone to his ear. Yeah? Thank you. She found us. She was in the parking lot this morning, sleeping in the truck. But still thank you. Is that AJ? Trav called beyond Orion's voice. Orion muffled the receiver as he replied to Trav. Jay. Trav needs to speak with you. All right. AJ. I tracked the numbers. Yeah, Ajax rumbled. They're all coming from somewhere in the Middle East. Someone's masking their number so it can't be traced. Ajax's lips twitched. How many calls? Always incoming, but he sent a few text messages through a messaging service. What do the messages say? They're coded. Of course they are. Yeah, I let Orion see it, but since they're such short messages, it's difficult to find patterns, so we're not having much luck with it. Ajax glanced at Hunter. All right. He sighed. All right. Should I be concerned? Well, is he acting funny still? I said yeah. Then I might be a little concerned. Ajax snorted. Thanks, man. Anything else? Nope. Feed's still normal, if not absolutely boring. It had another blink out last night, but again came back on with no issue. All right. I'll call you. You want to speak to Orion again? Nah, it's good. Ajax ended the call and tucked his phone away again. They were 2 hours away from the warehouse, and when they reached it, Hunter slowed the little hatchback. All three of them peered out the passenger side windows at the square, white building flanked on one side with evergreen trees and a parking lot on the other three sides. The paved parking lot was sparse with vehicles. "We should park and walk," Ajax rumbled as Hunter cruised farther down the road. "Whatever I want, boss." Hunter parked the vehicle on the side of the road, and with a quick glance around, they walked through the grass back toward the warehouse. They buried themselves in the trees and perched at the edge of the tree line. "Now what?" Himea looked at Ajax. "I'm thinking." "Don't think too long. We're blowing this place up in a minute." "What?" Hunter squinted at his cell phone and looked back at Ajax. "What? You thought you was the boss round here. I get that your little boyfriend wanted ya to talk to him, but I decided we gonna blow him up like they did us. Ain't no point in pansy talkin', no way." Ajax tilted his head. "What? No, we're not blowing the place up." "You gonna stop me?" Hunter scoffed. Ajax's fist flew at Hunter's face, relocating his nose a half-inch to the left. The bone cracked against his knuckles. "We're not blowing the place up." Hunter reeled backwards. "Ain't your choice no more. We can't have no leader who always wants to play peacekeeper." His voice was thick around snot and blood, and he clutched his cell phone in his hands. Ajax tackled him, throwing another punch to his face. "We're not blowing the place up," he repeated, voice menacing. He snatched Hunter's cell phone from his hand, peering at the screen and cursing. The screen showed a steady countdown, a slide option for immediate activation, and a deactivation option with a passcode entry. "Fuck. Can you stop it?" Himea prompted, shielding her eyes from Hunter's crooked face. Hunter tackled Ajax, driving his fist into Ajax's jawline. Ajax elbowed Hunter, fighting under him, as he typed in combination after combination to no avail. "What's the fucking passcode?" Ajax snarled, grabbing a fistful of Hunter's hair and yanking his head back. Hunter kneed him in the chest. "Not tellin' ya," he wheezed. "Fuck you." Ajax slammed the cell phone into the side of Hunter's face and kicked him off of him. He scrambled to his feet. His knuckles and his jawline throbbed. "I will end you right now if you don't tell me the passcode." Hunter laughed, staining his lips with pink blood. He rolled onto his side, but Ajax kicked him in the ribs, throwing him back on his back. He arched. "Gonna keep fucking with me, or gonna save the people who killed your family?" Ajax snarled. With another kick, he pushed Hunter out of the way. He looked at the cell phone. 2 minutes until the timer completed. He looked at Himea. "Stay here. Don't move." Gripping the phone in his hand, he regarded Hunter's shuddering body. He set his aching jaw, slamming his booted feet into both of Hunter's wrists before tossing the cell phone into the light bed of first-fallen autumn leaves and raced down to the warehouse. His chest and muscles burned, sore from the previous day's workout. His legs were jelly when he reached the warehouse, and he plastered his hands against the wall. He followed the wall, around the windowless building. "Come on," he hissed. When he reached the short side of the warehouse, a loud boom pierced his ears and the building vibrated. Smoke wept from the roof. "Shit." Ajax cursed, stumbling to the door and kicking it open. He entered a secluded lobby, with another door. The crackle of fire and the rush of frantic movement tickled his ears. Ajax had long since forgotten who warned him about hot doorknobs in a burning building, but the information floated to the forefront of his brain. He ripped his shirt over his head, wrapping it around the doorknob. With a silent prayer, he slammed into the door and twisted the doorknob. The door swung open, and scorched air entered his nostrils. Ajax fought his shirt off of the door handle and covered his mouth and nose with it as squinted eyes peered around. Paolo's figure ghosted through the flames. "Get low," Ajax called. "I'll come to you." His voice boomed over the roar of the fire, and he swam through the blaze, grabbing Paolo's body. His nails scraped his clothes, his fingers dug into his heated skin. He threw Paolo over his shoulders and sprinted for the exit, exhausting the last stores of his energy. The cold outdoor air soothed his aching lungs, and he collapsed in the grass. Angry flames chased them out, taunting them at the building's edge. Paolo coughed and puked into the grass. Ajax slapped his back before collapsing. He stared at the bright afternoon sky tainted by the dark curls of smoke floating from the building. The rancid smell of burning flesh touched his nose. Ajax groaned, rolling onto his side. Paolo scrambled. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? What the fuck?" he stammered, kicking his legs and flailing his arms. "Trees. Himea," Ajax managed, closing his eyes. He lay there for minutes or hours, until someone shaded him from the baking sunlight. Calloused fingers touched his stinging jaw, turning his face to the side. Ajax cracked his eyes open. "Get up," a stony voice commanded. A dark-complexioned man hovered over him. He slapped Ajax's face with a grin playing on his weathered features. His dreadlocks flapped in the wind. Ajax groaned. He squeezed his eyes shut, coughing up the fire's poison from his lungs. "Why hurt me? Get yoss up." Ajax rubbed his face against the moist grass, opening his eyes again. "You're dead. I told ya about that, didn't I?" "What?" Ajax went from curled against the ground to in the air, and hunched over D's shoulder. Paolo. Where's the kid?" D didn't reply, and Ajax drifted into a light sleep. His body moved, but he couldn't force his eyes open or his brain clear. Ajax woke in the dingy hotel room, to the smell of salty Chinese food and thundering voices. His head pounded. With his eyes closed, he listened to Hunter's raw voice communicate with an aged baritone voice. Himea and Paolo whispered to each other, in the far corner. When he opened his eyes, he compared his mental chart with reality. D rose from the office chair, and sat on the edge of Ajax's twin hotel bed. Himea jumped off the floor, and sat on the other side. She threw her arms around him, hugging him around the shoulders. She planted a platonic kiss on his forehead. "Thank you for saving him." Himea squeezed Ajax again. "Whatever," Ajax groaned. "Kid, how ya feelin'?" D slapped his calf through the sheets. "The fuck are you alive for? You wishin' your ol' man dead?" "No, but I expect if my ol' man was dead, then he would stay dead." Ajax pushed himself up and looked at Hunter. He surveyed his swollen face and purpling bruises. The air was electric between them. "Fuck you," Hunter grunted. "When we get back, you're leaving. You can tell everyone whatever you want, but you're out." "You can't do that." "I just did." Ajax's attention continued past Hunter, resting on Paolo. The boy had huddled in the corner, flinching as Ajax's eyes landed on him. Ajax worked his way to his feet, gripping the bed frame as his legs adjusted to his weight. "Paolo, can I talk to you for a minute?" "Why, yeah." Paolo nodded. I can help you." He scrambled over, wrapping an arm around Ajax's torso. "I got it." Ajax ducked away. "Y'all should get the bags packed. We're leaving when I get back." Himea, Paolo, D, you'll be in the hatchback. Hunter rides alone in the truck. He took slow strides out of the room, with Paolo following at his heels. When he closed the hotel room door, he collapsed against the stucco wall. Sweat beaded his brow. "What you wanna talk 'bout? Why'd you work for Brody? Tell me the truth, because I already know it anyway." "If you know the truth, why you askin'?" Ajax rumbled. "I saved you, but you ain't out of the woods yet. You lie to me, you won't make it back to the bar." Ite. The boy scoffed, squinting at the sky before looking back at Ajax. "I told you 'bout my cousins, right? I owe 'em money and a lotta other stuff. I figured workin' for Brody, I'd work enough to pay him off. I ain't got nothin' against your people, I'm just tryin' to pay off my debt." Ajax narrowed his eyes at Paolo. "You care about Himea?" Paolo hesitated and nodded. "Why, yeah. I think so." "Tell her the truth about why you're here then." "Why, yeah. Sure thing, bro." Ajax rolled his eyes. "Yeah, bro." They slipped back into the hotel room, and Ajax grabbed the keys to the hatchback, strolling back outside immediately. As they finished packing, Ajax sat in the driver's seat, staring at the odometer. When everyone had loaded up, Dee climbed in the passenger seat while Himea and Paolo piled in the back. Ajax waited for 3 seatbelt clicks before he turned the key in the ignition. The vehicle purred awake. "We left the hotel key cards in the room," Himea offered. "Good." Ajax merged onto the highway. The silence surrounding them was deafening, and Ajax drove until the gas light pinged on. He pulled into a gas station and looked into the back seat, handing Paolo a folded $20 bill and Himea 2 $20 bills. "Paolo, fill up the tank." "Himea, get some snacks." When the kids jumped out of the car, Ajax looked at Dee. "What happened?" "Job went wrong. We had a body." "How did we have a body? Who the fuck's body was it if not yours?" Dee shrugged broad shoulders. His long dreadlocks swayed with his movements. "Can't control what nutty shit people do when they sad." Ajax pressed his fingers to his lips, hushing his next words and shaking his head. "Why are you back now?" he asked as Paolo emerged from the building. "I finished the job." "What job was it?" "I killed old man Cromwell." Dee lowered his voice, fixing his eyes forward. "Took you over 4 years to do it?" "Didn't want him comin' after you." Ajax rumbled. "Why didn't you tell me you were alive all these years? I almost lost it without you." Without Chris, he twisted the leather steering wheel in tight fists. He glared at Dee before turning back to the road. "You should have stayed dead or wherever the fuck you were." "Don't be a little shit." "Yeah? Well, try this one on for size. You're a shitty fucking father, coming back when Hunter talks to you but can't get in touch with your own damn son. I mean it, you should have stayed gone." His voice was a tidal wave of emotions, flooding the small vehicle with them as all conversation dropped off. Himea and Paolo were ghosts in the back seat, looking wide-eyed between the 2 older men. "Now since we got that out of the way," Dee ended the silence, "I'm proud of ya. You been keeping tabs on me too, huh? Guess your phone broke." "Look, I knew you'd come looking for me and I didn't want you to. I wanted you to get on with your life all." Dee sighed. "It wasn't right, but I didn't want ya mixed up with Cromwell, but it seems ya did anyway." "Yeah, I took a job for him a year ago." "I know it. I didn't finish it right either." "I know." Dee's feathery eyebrows knit over his wrinkled forehead. "You'll meet him when we get back." Ajax chewed the inside of his cheek. "You love him, huh? As much as you loved Chris?" "Don't talk about Chris." "Why not? You got a nerve to call me a shitty father, but you don't want to bring up nothing else personal?" Ajax wiped his lips. "Fine. Chris was wrong and I was too. There. Anything else you want?" "Nah. I think we good." They took turns driving, letting each person in the vehicle have a turn behind the wheel until they pulled into the bar parking lot 2 days later. Himea and Paolo jumped out of the hatchback and raced inside while Ajax sat in the driver's seat, arms folded across his chest. Dee sat beside him in the passenger seat with a similar posture and blank expression. "Ain't been here in years." "And you shouldn't be here now," Ajax added. "You know I want to hate you." He set his jaw. "I want to be so damn mad at you for making me go through everything alone, but the only fucking thing I hear in my head is Orion's voice telling me to forgive you. So it's done. He's a good kid, Orion. Or should I say Lawrence? Orion, and he's not a kid. Not by a long shot. He killed Brody last year. He's been running shit here all year. He's not a kid. He's a man as much as you and me." Dee nodded. Ajax tilted his head. "Here's the thing. I'm not a little boy no more, and you're not going to come back in here and act like you run the show. It's me, and then it's Orion, and then it's everybody else, and then it's you." He flicked his eyes to Dee. "I don't know what kind of welcome home you expected, but you killed a lot of people who didn't have to die. We have babies and young kids, and it's time we set a better fucking example. Ajax climbed out of the vehicle, slamming the door behind him and grabbing his duffel bag from the trunk. When he reached the back door, it flew open, and Orion launched himself into his arms. The smaller man planted a kiss on Ajax's lips. "Did you make a deal with them?" He settled, arched on his toes as he slid his hands down Ajax's chest. Ajax wet his lips. "No." "They didn't listen?" He shook his head. "Hunter had other plans. I couldn't stop it." "What?" "I saved Paolo. And someone else too." Orion lifted his chin as Dee approached them, carrying a backpack over his shoulder. No. Didn't save him. I want you to meet someone. This is Dee, my father. Dee, this is Orion." He squeezed Orion's hands and stepped aside, motioning to the older man. Dee stood a breath taller than Ajax and was several shades darker, but they shared the same brooding eyes, the same lopsided smirk, and the same square jawline. He extended a hand to Orion and nodded. "Heard a lot about ya, kid." Orion's cheeks bloomed ruby red, and he glanced at Ajax while clasping his hands behind his back. Hi. His green eyes glimmered with a spike of turbulence as he accepted Dee's hand and shook it. "You takin' care of my son?" "Trying to, but he's always in some sort of trouble." Orion bit his bottom lip and glanced back at Ajax. Yeah. Ajax grinned, kissing Orion's temple. "Didn't you promise me something when I got back?" Orion's color deepened. "We're in front of your father," he hissed, shoving Ajax back. "Yeah, and?" "He knows how it works." "He's grown." Ajax nuzzled Orion's neck, pressing a kiss behind his ear. Okay, stop." Orion shoved him again. Hungry? I can make something. I should get you a place to sleep tonight. Do you want to see the babies?" Dee blinked. "Yours?" "And no. Jake's but kind of ours?" He winced. "Let me get a place for you to sleep." Orion ducked back inside and hurried up the stairs, leaving Ajax and Dee at the door. "He's cute?" Dee nodded. "Thank you, I think." "You train him?" "Yeah." Dee nodded. "He plays the game well." "Oh yeah. Want a beer?" Dee nodded again, and the two men strolled through the familiar establishment to the bar, sitting down. Dee tapped the counter, and Mila emerged from the back. She dropped the platter of food she had balancing on her shoulder, and the flat palm of her hand as her eyes widened. Orion slept nestled next to Ajax, and with babies flanking the sides of the bed. His sleep was sound and pure, and he cracked his eyes open the next morning gazing on his little family. Ajax had done the night feeding and prepared bottles for the morning, leaving a note tacked to the refrigerator. Orion scooped Christian from her bassinet and fed her first. When Christian had been fed and burped, Orion picked up D'Angelo and carried him around the house as he fed him and performed morning chores. After his feeding, D'Angelo lay on his belly on a soft blanket in the middle of the living room, guarded by Booger's lounging body. After a round of tummy time and a diaper change, Orion returned D'Angelo to his bassinet and exited their room, wandering down to the first floor. He sat at the quiet bar, relishing in the spare moments before various patrons and current residents filled the room with energy. Ty delivered him a plate of food and a glass of rich orange juice and disappeared back into the kitchen. Orion ate alone, savoring his food as much as the silence around him. When he was almost finished with his meal, Dee slipped into the seat next to him, tapping his knuckles on the bar. Orion's nose wrinkled, but Ty poked his head out of the kitchen. "Mornin' Dee," Ty waved. He returned to the kitchen for a few minutes, before producing a hefty plate of food for the older man. "You look good for a dead man." "Thanks." He chuckled. "So not funny." Orion rolled his eyes. "Mornin' to you too." Dee's warm laughter continued. "Good morning." Orion stabbed his sausage links, breaking them apart with his fingers. "You hungry at breakfast, kid?" Actually, Orion popped a piece of sausage into his mouth and turned around in his seat, Yes, I am. Let me guess. Why mad at me? There's no one else who's come back from the dead after years acting like everything is completely normal. Orion quirked an eyebrow. What do you have to say for yourself? Thought I was doing the right thing, kid. What you know about doing the right thing? Don't even. The right thing is being around when your family needs you. Ajax needed you when Ricky and Kai died. He needed you when the babies were born and Cicely passed away. He needed you when he made the decision to use something other than violence to solve his problems. Damn. You a Spitfire, huh? Orion's eyes traveled around the empty bar before returning to Dee. Sure. I'll take it. He picked at his food again. Dee copied him. What's your plan? Is everything supposed to go back to normal? Orion rounded on him again, snapping his face to the side and casting an intense stare to Dee's profile. Ain't got there yet. Well, we have things to deal with here. We have to take Himea back to her parents, decide what to do with Paolo, raise 3 babies and keep Mila safe. Dee hummed. Train him. What? The new kid. Train him. How many other options you got? Orion sipped his orange juice. I hadn't considered it. Why, might as well. I'll think about it, but I think you guys need to find a better way to fund the shelter. Working quiet jobs worked for you, but I can't imagine one day sending the babies into danger. I can't imagine dumping them off in the woods and hoping they return. We did what we had to do. You don't know nothing about doing what you gotta do. Orion growled. I shot a man because he threatened Ajax. You can't tell me about doing what I have to do. Orion's eyes brimmed with tears, and he blinked them away. Cloudy vision scanned the room, avoiding Dee as he gathered himself. Orion's stomach churned, and his heart accelerated and slowed, rattling his chest with haphazard movements. Orion placed his hands in his lap. He set his jaws as a glazed stare took over his eyes. Dee nodded, touching Orion's shoulder. He turned back to his food too, and finished his plate. Good. Dee blotted his lips with a napkin. Look here. I want to do right by my son. Ain't no one perfect, but I'm back now. And I want to do right by him. Okay. Tell me about the Ajax you know. Orion arched his back, inhaling a deep breath. His shoulders sagged as he exhaled. When I met him, he was a shell. He went through movements, he did the right stuff, but there was nothing there. He didn't really talk about you or Chris or anything. Orion bit his bottom lip. I found pictures of you guys hidden in a shoebox in Ricky's house. He's always been good to me. Dee bobbed his head. Go on. I'm listening. And we've been through a lot, him and I. He's surprisingly patient, kind and gentle once you melt the hard exterior. I think everyone deserves a father who cares for them. I'm glad you're back, I guess, but the Ajax you left and the Ajax I know are different. All right. I like the Ajax I know, and Orion pulled his hands from between his thighs and rested them on the table. And I think you will too. Dee's hard eyes softened. Yeah. He chuckled, fixing his eyes on the bottled wine in front of them. He gave me a talk in the car on the ride home. You know, couple years ago, he never would have spoke for himself like he did. It hurt to hear him say some of them words, but it felt good at some time. I felt, proud of him. You should be proud of him. Yeah. And I'm glad he's got ya. Why seem like a good kid? Why seem good for him? I think I am, yes. Y'all gonna do that marriage thing? No. No, I don't think so. I'm not really into being married again. I was married once. Only lasted a couple weeks. Why? Orion lifted his eyebrows. Oh wait. Do I really want to know? Nothing serious. Just didn't work out. How did it not work out? Dee shrugged, chuckling. She turned the lights on. Wow. Okay. Orion chuckled as well. Jay and Mila should be down with the babies now. Whoa, y'all ain't in one of those three-way relationships, are ya? No. Orion wrinkled his nose. Mila had a baby too. We all help with the babies. Jake and Cicely named their twins Christian and D'Angelo. I guess now we'll have to call him DJ. DJ? D'Angelo Jr. Dee laughed. I guess so. Crow's feet spidered from the corners of his eyes. Come on. Let's go upstairs. Let me get these plates first. Dee stacked Orion's plate over his and grabbed both of their glasses, carrying them into the kitchen before returning and offering a hand to Orion. The smaller man stood and brushed off his clothes before leading Dee up the staircase to their room. He knocked and pushed the door open, poking his head inside. Ajax relaxed bare-chested on the couch with Christian on top of him and Booger at his feet. D'Angelo and Mila cuddled in a soft recliner. The little boy's blissful eyes stared up at Mila as she pet his fine curls and rubbed his smooth baby skin. Bernie lay on the floor on his belly, content with his legs and arms next to his body and diapered bottom pointing to the ceiling. Oh, Dee. Mila covered herself and D'Angelo's head. "'S all right. You feed him. I can come back later if you need me to." Orion looked at Mila. "Is it okay?" She looked between the men for a moment, before nodding. "Why yeah. I guess it's mostly weird to see you again." She held D'Angelo to her chest. Orion circled the room, scooping Bernie into his arms and presenting him to Dee. "This is Mila's baby, Bernie." He touched the baby's pink cheeks and kissed his forehead. "I had him, but he's all of ours," Mila corrected. "Don't let Orion tell you anything different. He's been as much as a parent to all three of these babies as anyone else. You're safer crossing a busy intersection of traffic than coming between him and these kids." She offered a light chuckle. Dee scooped the baby into his arms. "Who da father?" He looked at Ajax. Ajax grunted. "Not me." Orion rolled his eyes. "By DNA, we don't know. Otherwise J me trav tie. Hopefully you'll be one of his fathers too? Grandfather more like. He's a big un, what y'all feedin' this rascal?" Mila laughed. "Breast milk. All of them. The twins were premature though, so they have a little catching up to do." Dee strolled the room with Bernie in his arms, and Orion sat on the side of the couch next to Ajax's head, combing through the man's hair. "We have decisions to make," Orion prompted, the joy in his eyes trickling away as he glanced at each baby. "We gonna make 'em without Trav and Rain?" Ajax tipped his head up at Orion. "No, but we can discuss our options first, get a few solid ideas, and then talk to them." "Fair. What decisions?" "Besides, one decision doesn't involve them at all. It involves you and me mostly." "Mostly." Orion nodded. "It involves Himea and Paolo." "What about them?" "What should we do about them, Jay?" "I suggestin' why train 'em up. Paolo's got a little bit of skill. I heard he would have poisoned you, Jax, if in this one hadn't taken your drink," Dee said. Ajax frowned, hollowing his cheeks. "We don't know where his alliance is. I don't want him around us if he's not loyal to us. We killed everybody else. Why questionin' his loyalty? The whole reason this started in the beginning is because Brody never fit in with us. He always felt like an outcast. If Paolo feels the same way, we'll start all over again," Ajax said. "Do we know why he worked for Brody in the first place?" Dee bounced Bernie in his arms. "Probably just some kid wantin' a little extra cash for tattoos and booze." "No. He has a debt. He ran away from his gang." "What? He's in a gang?" Orion's eyes flew wide. "What if they come looking for him?" Mila shifted D'Angelo to her other nipple, adjusting her top and crossing her legs. "Can I make a suggestion?" "Of course." Orion nodded. "Pay off his debt and let him stay with us. He wants a family, so give him a family." Orion chewed his bottom lip. How much is the debt? Ajax shrugged. Don't know. Orion sighed. We'll look into it more, but I do think maybe it's best we let him stay. We've lost so much, and so has he. I think it's time for a new start. He can work with Jake or Ellis once he's at least trained. Yeah, Ajax rumbled. About the girl. We're talking her home. Mila frowned. Can I make another suggestion? Yes. She should call her mother if she hasn't already. Her mother needs to know she's okay. Mila stroked D'Angelo's forehead. Otherwise, we should let her make her own decision. We all had the chance to. She's not even 18 yet. Orion screwed up his features as he looked at Mila. So? Ajax, what age were you when Dee trained you? 15. Dee? When you were trained? Never was, but spent my sweet 16 in a cell. I remember the day I made the decision, because it was the day I had my first period. She rolled her shoulders and looked up from D'Angelo's sweet face into Orion's. I know it's not the same for her, but I think we should stop treating her like she's a nuisance child and let her formulate her own opinion about what she wants to do. There's nothing wrong with being who we are. Orion pressed his lips together and looked at Ajax. Ajax shuddered and looked down. I agree with Mila. Okay, fine. We'll let her make the choice. We'll let her decide between learning how to shoot guns and kill people or going to college. Love. She can do both if she wants. Ajax sat up, adjusting Christian in his lap and dragging Orion into his chest. He kissed Orion's forehead, and fire spread through Orion's body. Orion rested his chin on Ajax's shoulder. Okay. He closed his eyes as tears fell from them, striping down his tan cheeks and pooling on Ajax's swarthy skin before trailing over darkened scars and bumpy keloids. Do you know what we forgot? What? The shelter. Ajax kissed Orion's damp cheek. Trav, Rain, and Jake have been working on it. A wave of relief washed over Orion. Oh, gee, good. Probably have the opening soon, actually. I was thinking if Himena's mom says it's all right, she can hang out here until after everyone gets moved back in, then we'll take her up to see her family. And after? Ajax shrugged. And after we can go home. Home? Yeah. I bet I still got some deer in the freezer I can make for us. Maybe not. It's probably freezer burned. We can give it to Boogie? Orion leaned down, patting the lazy dog on the head. He lifted his ears when he heard his name, lapping at Orion's fingers before grunting and flopping onto his side. And waste perfectly good food? Dee scowled as a charming glint touched his eyes. Don't Pops? He loves the dog. Orion nodded. I'll give it to Boogie because I'm not eating freezer-burnt deer meat when you have guns and can go kill another deer. Ajax smirked. It's not quite so easy, but yeah, I guess. Dee traded babies with Mila, holding his namesake to his chest. We could get us a Lee Huntin trailer to put out there. Not a bad way to spend Saturday mornings. Aw, you guys could bond. Orion winked. Sure. Ajax laughed. We'd be leaving the babies, though. Mila settled Bernie against her. He grabbed for her chest. Leaving the babies, but taking care of our other youth. I don't want them to forget me. If they do, they'll remember you soon enough when you come back, Orion. We'll send you updates, pictures, and videos. Orion puffed out his cheeks and swiped a fresh wave of tears from his eyes. Hey, Ajax cooed, pressing his lips into Orion's jawline. It's all right. You did right by them since they were born. When we get back, they'll remember your touch. They may not know why or how, but they'll remember it. Orion scrubbed his cheeks. Are you sure? Yeah. Ajax kissed him again. 100%. It was another 2 months before the shelter was completely furnished. Orion morphed back into the decorating phase, spending mornings on the phone with donors and evenings at the shelter. He moved furniture around with a laughing baby strapped to his back, dragging patterned rugs over the newly hardwood floor. In the interest of baby-proofing the entire building, he covered all sharp corners with blunt edges and added magnetic seals to the lower cabinets and drawers all over the building. A liberal amount of smoke detectors decorated the walls, along with purchased paintings from local budding artists. Orion spent a week filing out paperwork and sending Ajax back and forth to the post office for information. He sent Ajax to the office supply store 2 days in a row for printed copies and digitally submitted information. On the third day, Ajax returned to Jake's bar with a printer under his arm and a surly, tired frown on his features. The rest of the week, Orion printed and electronically submitted information from the living room of their suite at the bar. Besides errand running, Ajax reacquainted himself with his father. Orion left the 2 men in sole care of the 3 babies while he busied himself with the shelter. Within 3 days, Ajax and Dee found themselves overwhelmed with diapers, feedings, and teary-eyed pleas, and Ajax tossed a stack of diapers on the counter as Dee juggled a screaming baby in one arm and a soiled baby in the other. "This isn't working," Ajax snarled. "Give them here." He reached for the babies, but Dee turned away. "No, I'm handling it." "No, you're not. They're screaming their heads off." "You're not handling it. Give them here." "Gimme the bottles." Ajax squeezed the bridge of his nose and sighed. "You can't feed him with a dirty diaper, it's gross. If and I put a new one on him, he gonna mess it up." "Well, yeah. He's a baby. Jesus Christ. Give me Bernie and you can feed Christian. Okay?" Ajax held his hands out again. This time Dee surrendered one baby. Ajax patted Bernie's back, supporting his weight with one arm. He removed Bernie's diaper and cleaned his bottom before picking him up again, pressing bare chests together. "Y'aren't gonna put another diaper on him?" "No, it's fine." Dee knit his whiskered eyebrows, shaking his head. "What? This newfangled child rearing don't make no sense to me. Why you got a naked baby on your chest? He gone pee on ya or something?" Ajax shrugged, carting Bernie into the kitchen. He kissed the baby's sparse curls as he grabbed 2 bottles from the refrigerator. After handing one bottle to Dee, he swirled the creamy substance and adjusted Bernie in his arms, presenting the bottle to his lips. "You ain't gonna warm it?" "No, it's fine." "Why s'posed to warm it? It ain't good to give a baby cold milk." Ajax sighed. "It's fine, Pops. They're used to drinking it any kind of way. I think Bernie even likes it cold. I mean, he likes nursing the best, they all do. But if he's not nursing, he doesn't mind it cold." "It ain't right." Dee screwed up his features, peering down at the chilled bottle. "I'ma warm it up." "Pops. Christian's hungry now. Give her the bottle." Ajax settled on the couch with Bernie in his arms. The baby's eyes lidded, and he cuddled against Ajax. "Don't make no sense." "Pops." Dee grunted and presented the bottle to the fussy baby. Not used to Dee's hold, Christian squirmed in his arms, bunching Dee's shirt and her soft cotton one-piece. "She'd settle more if you did skin to skin." "I ain't holdin' no naked baby against me." Ajax's dark eyes fixed on Dee. "All right." He leaned back, closing his eyes and dropping his head on the back of the couch. With 3 babies, Ajax's muscles knew the length of a feeding and the weight of an empty bottle over a full one. When Bernie completed his bottle, Ajax opened his eyes, setting the bottle on the coffee table and grabbing a clean cloth, draping it over his shoulder. He rubbed the baby's back. Dee had finally soothed Christian. Bernie spit up over Ajax's shoulder, and Ajax traded him with D'Angelo, repeating the same process with the 3rd baby. "Never thought I'd see you with kids." "I didn't think I'd see myself with them either." Ajax shrugged, balancing D'Angelo and the bottle in one hand as he eased back into the couch. "You know what, Widoin, I'll give you that. I mean, I think some of this new age stuff is weird, but the baby's calm." "They are. I don't think I'll be puttin' a naked baby on my chest." "It's skin to skin, Pops. They say it's good for calming and all kinds of brain benefits. I don't know, Rye and Mila read some article about it. So everyone goes around with the babies against their bare chest? If they want. Mostly Mila, Rye, Rain, Trav, Jake, and I guess it's pretty much everyone, isn't it? Ajax rubbed the back of his head, cheeks tingling. Sounds about like everyone. I figured, even if it's kind of weird, all the brain benefits and the breathing and health make it worthwhile, Plus, they'll only be small for a tiny bit of their life. Next year, they'll be crawling all over the place. I remember when you was this small. Yeah? Dee nodded. Took a break from workin' for 2 years when ya dropped in. Ricky, Jake, and I had no earthly idea what we was doin'. First baby we ever dealt with. We was a bunch of single men trying to make it work. Ajax smirked, a little chuckle sighing from his lips. You was dropped off at the shelter 'bout a week after you was born. The doctor said it. He said you was all healthy, even though we accidentally gave ya cow's milk. Took us hours with ya to find the right diapers. And why had to have this special formula, 'cause the other stuff made ya gassy something fierce. Right? Yeah, we can talk about something else anytime you want. What? You don't want to hear 'bout Weisself as a baby? Not particularly. Dee grinned. Christian finished her bottle, and he burped her. He dug his wallet out of his pocket and tossed it to Ajax. Look in there. Why? Just look. Ajax sifted through Dee's wallet. What am I looking for? Behind the money, there are pictures. Okay. Ajax tugged a stained, 2-inch by 3-inch photographs out of Dee's wallet. He thumbed back the creased corners and rested his eyes on a young man with an impressive afro holding a chunky shirtless baby to his chest. You keep other people's family photos now? He grunted. Nah, kid. It's you. You was the only baby we ever had. Everyone else came our way when they got old enough to run away from home and look for something better. Right? Ajax stared at the photograph. The vibrancy of the colors had faded, but the values remained. You ever wonder why everyone seemed to let you get away with murder? Really? He lifted his eyebrows and chuckled. Yeah, really. It's 'cause we was all passin' you around. Have to say, why kept us human when we was workin'? Knowin' we would come back to your innocence and laughter. Yep. Ajax tucked the photo back in Dee's wallet. Nah, you keep it. Why? 'Cause I want to trade it out for a picture of your man. We don't have any pictures, Pops. Aight? Take some then. With them babies too. Why? 'Cause you ain't no baby no more, and I want to be like everyone else. Go to the airport and start showing off white kids and what they doin'. I want to stand in line with the white woman and be able to show off my kid too. And what? Tell her he's a professional assassin in a same-sex relationship? It's not exactly something you talk about over mimosas and breakfast. Probably leave out the assassin part. I must say, or a professional. Professional what? Ajax's features lit up with a grin. Professional criminal? Aight. Hang on, I'm thinkin'. Still grinning, Ajax pocketed the photograph and thumbed through Dee's wallet again. What are you doin' with this bill? You need money, kid. Nah, I don't need money. I'm just askin' what you doin' with this bill. You want money, huh? His dark eyes sparkled. Maybe. Guessin' kids never grow out o' it, huh? Nope. Ajax snatched a $100 bill out of Dee's wallet and tucked it in his pocket next to the photograph. So, what are you going to tell little old ladies about my profession again? I must say, why work for yourself? Use a freelancer. A professional one. I think all freelancers qualify as professionals, Pops. S what I must say. And then when they say what kind of freelancin', I must say why have a wide range of skills. And what are you going to say about Orion? He has a wide range of skills too. Dee nodded. Right, but people are going to ask how we met." The older man snapped his fingers. "You right. I'ma say why saved his life. They're still going to want details." "Yeah, well, I gotta work on to rest of it." Ajax tossed the wallet back, and after burping the last of the infants, the two men changed diapers and rested them on their backs for a nap. They spent the rest of the day and subsequent days caring for the babies and catching up on everything since Dee's disappearance. They mulled over the past, developing a new relationship as adults, one they never had when Ajax was young and foolish. Before the reopening of the shelter, Dee and Ajax traded the silver hatchback for a used green minivan with 60,000 miles on it and 3 rows of seating. Orion kissed his hatchback goodbye and puckered his lips with folded arms as they returned with the minivan replacement. He inspected the vehicle before nodding his reluctant approval. The day of the shelter's reopening, Orion carpooled with Rain to the shelter, strapping the twins in the backseat of her sedan. Mila rode with Jake in his old red truck returned by Hunter. Paolo and Himea assisted Dee and Ajax with packing the minivan. They layered an ice chest and snacks purchased in bulk behind the third row of seats. They strapped down suitcases and duffel bags on the roof. A little before noon, Ajax climbed into the driver's seat and transported Dee, Himea, Paolo, and Booger to the reopening. They arrived as the autumn sky displayed a wash of rich, warm hues. Bright oranges and saturated reds framed the soft blue exterior of the shelter, and Ajax fit the minivan between Jake's vehicle and Rain's sedan. Paolo and Himea jumped out of the minivan, rushing inside with their fingers laced together. Booger stretched out between the two middle seats, scraping the hard plastic with a heavy sigh. Dee unbuckled his seatbelt and exhaled as he looked at the building. "You know how all this started?" Ajax shook his head. "We was kids. Jake, Ricky, and me. We was kids. Ricky and I was barely 18. Jake was younger though. Jake and Ricky came to America with poor parents. My parents was poor too, but we always lived round this area. I grew up growin' to the grocery round the corner and washin' my clothes at the place next to the liquor store. But we saw this buildin' and we slept in it. It was empty." "Nah, well yeah, technically it was. It was abandoned." "Oh, yeah. Was just us for a while, then we let a few women and kids stay with us. They ain't had nowhere else to go, so we let 'em stay. We didn't rape 'em or nothin'. Our place became a safe spot." Ajax held his breath as Dee spoke. His heart ached, throbbing inside his chest at his father's rough words. "We got kinda a representative for it. People challenged it, you know, but with our skills we taught each other self-defense, guns, and intelligence. Ricky, you said to get these old parts, made us a security system. Jake rebuilt the place a bit. And I grew our representative on the streets. Everybody learned quick not to mess with us." "Oh." Ricky worked with the yellow tape, getting us legalized enough to keep left alone. We got our money together, bought the building from the bank. Cops didn't bother us 'cause they don't police our block, but you know they don't, as many as our friends who've died on these corners. It's fucked up. They scared kid. It's up to us to keep our streets and our people safe. You know, if they had their way, they'd scrub the place clean and put a yoga place right where the park is. I know. It's good to see y'all still keeping this place up. Makes me proud." "Why yeah. Orion's done a lot. I mean, I've always put money back into it, but he's really trying to make it a home for people. He's doing more than I think we could, you know." "Yeah, I get ya." They stared at the building until Orion's slender form emerged at the front door. He shielded his eyes from the setting sun and peered around the parking lot before approaching the minivan. Ajax descended the tinted window, and Orion folded his arms across the door opening. The burnt orange sky magnified his youthful green eyes. "Hi." He smiled. His cheeks dimpled. "Hey," Ajax murmured. "Are you two coming inside any time soon? Everyone is waiting on you." "Oh, we were talking. Why are they waiting on us?" "Shaniqua wants to bless the food, and she refuses to do it until everyone is inside and holding hands. Zeke is getting hangry and causing trouble and keeps teasing Iggy's guest. So can you guys come inside, please? Dee chuckled. I remember Zeke when he was in diapers. Fantastic story, Pops. Why'd you call me old man, Pops? Whatever you want. Except Daddy, Ajax groused. Orion's cheeks flamed. All right. I'll think on it. He opened Ajax's door. Come on. Hey, we'll be there in 5 minutes. Ajax cupped Orion's face in his, pressing a kiss into the point of his nose. Orion eyed him. Promise? Yeah. Promise. Orion tipped his head, casting Dee a warning. He looked back at Ajax. Okay. I will see you both inside in 5 minutes then. The smaller man kissed Ajax's cheek and sauntered back inside. Ajax watched his ass move in the confines of his tight jean shorts. Keep tea for as long as you can. Keep what? Why desire for him? The hungriness. You're giving me relationship advice? I've never seen you with a woman. Maybe I ain't into women. Do you like women? Dee shrugged. Yeah. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with men, but I can't get past the dick thing. Right? I'm not ready for this conversation. Dee filled the car with laughter, wiping amused tears from the wrinkled corners of his eyes. I like women. Right? Do you have a secret family I don't know about? Nope. Ain't got no one. Why not? Ain't found no one I could be real with, so I ain't worryin' about it. I'm old. I'm happy to have youn Orion and de babies. I just want to grow old and be someone's grandpa. Ajax pressed his lips together. Well, you're here now, so we'll teach the babies to call you Grandpa D. Dee nodded. Let's go inside afore he comes back for us. Good point. Ajax climbed out of the minivan, opened the side door for Booger and followed Dee inside. They broke into the circle of hand-holders beside Orion. Ajax squeezed Orion's hand, lacing their fingers together while he held Dee's hand with a cupped grip. He bowed his head as Shaniqua spoke. Her prayer thanked God for their food and their new building. Dee murmured in agreement each time her words worked up to a exulting shout. Orion, on the other hand, fluttered his dark eyelashes. Ajax froze in between them, rubbing Orion's soft knuckles. He winced when Dee's thankfulness constricted the blood flow to his fingers. Her prayer ended with more rounds of gratitude. She promised the crowd God will make a way if he hadn't already. Dee rocked back and forth, raising his voice in his amen. Ajax mumbled an amen, and Orion lifted his head, lips pressed in a thin line. Dee slapped Ajax's shoulder and disappeared into the crowd. He slapped the shoulders of older neighborhood residents who came for the reopening, falling into easy conversation with them. Ajax rolled his eyes to Orion. Not religious? No. If God is so great and magical, he wouldn't make children suffer, and if you tell me everyone has their own struggles to overcome, I'll punch you in the dick. I'm not saying anything. You can believe whatever you want, babe. The corners of Ajax's lips lifted. What? Nothin'. Okay, well, I still have some things to finish up in the kitchen with everyone. You can take a seat if you want. Once everyone is served, I'll come find you. Take your time. No. We've been so busy with everything, I want to have time with my man. Orion leaned into Ajax's arms, kissing his lips and gazing into his eyes. Love you. Love you too. Have you enjoyed your father-son time with Dee? It's been good. Orion nodded. Okay. He threw his arms around Ajax in a hug, sighing into his neck before retreating. He expanded the distance between them until their fingers stretched, eager for last touches of warmth. Ajax was starved for Orion as soon as the tingling feeling of his touch evaporated from his skin, and he stood alone in a sea of familiar faces. He shuddered, muscles rippling under his tawny skin. He rounded the table before bumping into Iggy and his arm companion for the evening. Iggy's horsey face split into a smile, and his eyes sparkled. "Oh, Ajax. Have you met Jonah?" "Sure haven't." Ajax turned his attention from Iggy to the other man. Jonah extended a hand to Ajax, and Ajax shook it, glimpsing over his crisp wool suit and flat-combed hair. "How'd you and Iggy meet?" Jonah's cheeks flamed. "Oh, you know, around." Iggy winked. "You need to check the upstairs. The bedrooms are amazing. Your honey did a great job with it, but I think the wall art is the best part of the rooms." "Why?" "Because I picked it out." Iggy winked again. Ajax shook his head. "All right. I'll check it out now." "Iggy, nice to see you looking well." "Jonah, nice to meet you." The bony man blew a kiss to Ajax and waved his fingers before dragging his friend along through the crowd. Ajax jogged up the stairs, turning to the left and wandering down the stretched hallway. He peeked in the open doors. Orion had themed the rooms. The children's rooms had stacked bunk beds and tables with lights. He had painted the walls an energizing yellow and fitted the bed with whimsically abstract comforters. The rooms for adults had 2 beds and 2 desks. A dresser attached to the ends of each bed, and Orion had provided clear bins for under-the-bed storage as well. Uniquely patterned rugs brought a freshness and individuality to each bedroom. Ajax turned at the end of the hall and strolled back toward the stairs. He paused at the only closed door on the left side of the hallway, listening to a soft rise and fall of voices and a female's high-pitched giggle. He threw the door open. Whatever's going on here needs to stop. Anger and authority colored his tone as his eyes landed on Shaniqua and Xavier. Shaniqua pulled her shirt closed over her baby stretched across her lap. "Ajax?" Her eyes widened. Ajax's ears burned and he turned away, fixing his gaze to the wall. "Shit. Sorry. I thought you were someone else. Shit, so sorry." "It's okay. You scared me." Unique punched at Shaniqua's shirt, unlatching and fussing as Shaniqua kept her covered. "I'll go." "Sorry. Keep feeding." I could bring you something to eat." "I'm fine, actually. I'll come down in a minute." Shaniqua's mahogany cheeks darkened, and she looked at Xavier. Xavier grunted. "Ajax, can I talk to ya for a minute?" "Sure." He backed out of the room and folded his arms. Xavier jumped up, closing the door behind him as he stepped into the hallway. "Look. Shaniqua was thinking about us helping y'all run this place when you're not around. Do you guys have any job openings or anything? She said she could run some kind of daycare maybe, if it's a thing you want to do." Ajax combed through his hair. It's not really my project. I can let Orion know if you want." Yeah, let em know. We just want to put as much time as y'all put in is all." Ajax nodded. "I'll keep it in mind." He squeezed Xavier's shoulder. "How you doing?" Good. Been clean for 18 months now. I'm thinking about proposing and adopting Unique." "I thought you were her biological father." Xavier shook his head. "Ain't sure, but she didn't list nobody on the birth certificate. I don't even want a blood test. I just want to do it." Ajax nodded. "Blood doesn't matter. It only matters what you do with your actions. If you want to plan a wedding, let Orion know. He loves planning weddings. I saw. He did a damn good job with Rains." Ajax nodded. "Anyway, I'm going to let you get back to, spending time with your family. I'm glad you're doing good. I was worried about you for a while." "Same to you. You gave us all quite a scare. These boys around here need you." "I know. I'm going to work on being around more." "I know you're busy, but you gotta call 'em or something. They listen to you, and they look up to you. Especially Zeke." "Yeah," Ajax agreed. "Probably 'cause he looks like you." "He don't. Anyway, get back to it. I'm going to check out the other rooms." Ajax squeezed Xavier's shoulder again, Then he passed the staircase and entered the other side of the hallway, peeking in each carefully tailored room before descending the staircase again. Mila waved at him from the corner of the main room, sitting cross-legged with Fancy at her side asking her endless questions about Bernie. Fancy smoothed the baby's hair and leaned her head on Mila's shoulder, wiggling her fingers to Ajax once he caught her eye. Ajax smiled and nodded to them both, leaving Mila to her baby and continuing around the room, greeting Noah, Wallace, and Yvonne as he reached the entrance and stepped outside. The moon had risen as the sky morphed from orange to blue, and he spied two couples nestled in the benches flanking the door. Guy and Kiona sat on one side with the young man's lean arm around the girl's shoulders. She had a book open across her exposed thighs, and her lips moved as she read from it, glancing up at Guy every few minutes. The adoration beamed in her eyes. "You two doing all right?" Ajax slipped his hands in his pockets as he strolled over to the pair. Kiona flicked her dark eyes up to Ajax and then to Guy, whose cheeks reddened. He rubbed his stubbly chin and scrubbed the back of his head. "Why, yeah?" Dark eyebrows quirked together at Ajax's question. "Good. You need condoms?" "No." Guy retracted his arm from around Kiona's shoulders and wiped his hands on his jeans. Kiona tucked tiny braids behind her ear and pressed her lips together. She gripped the sides of the paperback book as she curled into herself, shrinking under Ajax's gaze. Can I talk to you for a minute?" "Me?" Ajax blinked. She nodded, closing the book and passing it to Guy before jumping to her feet. She brushed off her shorts and approached Ajax. "Over there?" She pointed to the parking lot. Yeah. Sure." Ajax led her to the minivan and leaned against it. He folded his arms over his chest as he squinted down at the teenager. "What's up?" "We haven't done anything, me and Guy." "Good. I want to, though, with him." She bit her bottom lip. "Why are you telling me? Isn't this a question more for Rain or Mila? You know, another female? I can't talk to them. It's different." She sucked her bottom lip. "I mean, I have questions about it." "About sex?" "Well, yes, but also about, you know it." Ajax stared and then blinked. "Oh, about dicks? You have a question about dicks?" "Why, yes." Her eyes went wide. "Is it okay? Can I ask you?" "Why, yeah, sure." "Okay." She wrung her fingers together, shifting her weight from one leg to the other. "Okay, first, sometimes when we're hanging out he gets excited but we're not really doing anything. What should I do?" "Nothing. His dick, his problem." "Is it my fault?" She knit her dark eyebrows together in the center of her forehead. "Not your fault." "Did he say it was?" "No, he never mentions it." "Well, except once I accidentally elbowed him when we were playing around." Ajax winced. "Yeah. It happens. What else?" "Can I ask you a really personal question?" Ajax closed his eyes. "Yeah, sure. My friends at school were talking about guys being circumcised or not, and I was wondering about the differences." "Right? It's basically, like a neck covered with a turtleneck or not. The girls at school said uncircumcised guys smell funny. I mean, it's a dick. It already smells funny, but if a dude smells worse than a little sweat, you shouldn't fuck him." Kiona nodded. "Anything else?" "What if I like girls too?" Ajax shrugged. "Then you like girls too." She nodded again, and looked over her shoulder back toward Guy. "He's a good kid." Ajax jutted his chin forward. "You mean a lot to him." "I know. We've been saving for a place. I think he told you about it." "Yeah. We've almost saved up enough to finally get it." "Good. Before you sign anything, make sure one of us looks at it first, all right? Get Jake or Ellis down here to check the place out for you." "Or you?" Ajax chewed the inside of his cheek. "Yeah. I'll do it if I'm around." "Okay, good. See, can I call you with sex questions?" "Why, yeah." Oh, Orion can answer too. He's better at this than me, you know. I know, but I've known you the longest. Since you were born. She shrugged and smiled. Exactly. You're like a big brother, it's different. Yeah, right. You know how to reach me if you need anything. Get back to your little boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend, she protested, rolling her eyes with a dimpled smile. Hey, I missed you. Are you going to be able to make my graduation in the spring? You gonna send me a pretty invitation? Aha. Then I'll be there. I'm proud of you, kid. She beamed and launched herself into Ajax's arms, squeezing him around his neck. Thanks. Okay. I'm going to go finish reading. I'm reading him Shakespeare's love sonnets. I bet he loves those. Actually, he does. She turned and skipped back over to Guy, snatching the book from his lap and plopping down beside him again. She crossed her legs and leaned into him, comforted and emboldened by her newfound knowledge. Ajax glanced around the parking lot before his eyes landed on Zeke, with a rolled cigarette at his lips and a lighter in his hand. Ajax strolled over to him, snatching the cigarette once the end bloomed and sizzled. He inhaled a long drag and returned it to Zeke. Orion told me you were selling drugs. What? That was months ago. I ain't sellin' no more. Ajax rumbled. He met Zeke's dark eyes and held his gaze until the boy looked away from him. I hope you're not. I ain't, Zeke repeated, flicking the ash from the tip of the cigarette after the sizzling flame curled the edges of the paper and burned the tobacco inside. Ajax exhaled in another rumble. If you're lying, I'll find out. He passed Zeke by and jogged back inside, kicking his feet up in a chair next to Quiana and hooking the heel of his boot around the burnished rim of the table. He balanced the chair on two legs and spoke with Quiana until Orion finished in the kitchen and joined him. Orion pushed Ajax backwards in the chair, and Ajax scrambled, gathering his balance and righting himself with 4 chair legs and his feet on the floor. Giggling, Orion sat a full plate of food in front of Ajax and saved a chair by slithering into Ajax's lap. The eating and merriment continued well into the evening, and people trickled out as the night continued. Ajax and Orion exchanged a tearful goodbye with Christian and D'Angelo as they passed the 2 babies to Trav and Rain. The young newlywed couple promised pictures and videos, and Orion offered them a watery smile. They left for a hotel with the babies. Orion and Ajax kissed Bernie farewell too, helping Mila tuck him into his back-facing car seat in Jake's truck. By the time 10 o'clock came, everyone left at the shelter lived there, and the children raced upstairs, performing their bedtime routine under Shaniqua and Xavier's watch. The older residents cleaned the dining area and the kitchen. Ajax and Orion met Dee at the minivan, and Jimena and Paolo joined them a few minutes later, rubbing their sleep-heavy eyes. They got to itis, Dee laughed at the younger couple. The itis? Orion looked at Dee, curiosity marring his features. Yeah. The itis is when ya eat so much food ya sleepy afterwards. Orion looked at Ajax. Ajax shrugged. I'll take first round. You always drive, Jay. Yeah. I'll take first round. He kissed Orion's head. You should be exhausted from today. Triggered by his words, Orion yawned and combed his fingers through his thick hair. The faded platinum blonde magnified the dark brown roots. Maybe. Ajax hummed, yeah? He laced his fingers with Orion's, as everyone piled into the minivan and pulled the smaller man close to him, fitting their bodies together. Orion pressed his shoulders into Ajax's chest and tucked his neck on his shoulder. Definitely. You can stretch out on the back seat if you want. I think Deal right up front with me. Orion nodded and climbed into the minivan, curling into the back seat and using a duffel bag as a pillow. Ajax drove the first shift, getting them out of the city and on the highway. When they stopped for gasoline, they switched drivers. Dee adjusted the seat forward, Orion occupied the front passenger seat, and Ajax stretched out along the back bench seat, kicking off his boots and covering his eyes with his arm. Booger wiggled from the floor to Ajax's lap, stretching his huge body over his master. Aside from scattered bathroom breaks, it was another 8 hours before they rolled into gas station and switched drivers again. Orion pulled his hair off his neck and into a bun and adjusted the seat for his shorter stature. Ajax sat in the front passenger seat and Dee napped in the back. Orion drove the last 6 hours into North Dakota. Himea provided directions to her house, and they pulled into the long winding driveway in late afternoon. Marlene waited for them on the porch with folded arms and a sour face, and when Orion turned off the vehicle, he glanced at Ajax. "Get out." Orion motioned to the door. "Why?" "Because she likes you the best." Ajax flicked his eyes up to Marlene. "She doesn't." He unbuckled his seatbelt and peered into the back seat. Booger lifted his head from in between the two middle seats and thumped his tail on the ground. Dee grunted from the far back seat. Himea slept curled in her seat, and Paolo sat on his hands staring forward. His wide eyes locked on Ajax's. "I must stay in here," Paolo whispered. "Nope. You're getting out." Ajax exited the vehicle and rolled open the passenger door, grabbing Paolo by the collar and yanking him out of his seat. "You started this mess." "Where's my daughter?" Marlene stomped off the porch, strolling right up to Ajax. She put her hands on her hips and tipped her head to the side. "In the car. She's safe. I told you to convince her to stay here, and the second y'all leave, she's already hopping in the car with a boy no older than she is." "This one?" Ajax motioned to Paolo. "Yes, he's the one. I saw him around town, thought he was one of the students at the local high school. But no, he's one of yours." "He wasn't." "It's complicated," Ajax rumbled. "Can we come in?" "Who's we?" "Ah. Me, Orion, our friend here," he motioned to Paolo again. "Your daughter and my father, Dee." "Dee?" "D'Angelo." Her eyelashes fluttered. "He's here?" "You know him?" "Oh yes. He was at our wedding years ago. He was Ricky's best man, but I thought he died years ago." "Didn't we all?" Ajax muttered. "Where's Valeria?" "She's still at the hardware store. She should be home in a few minutes." Marlene released her anger, sighing through flared nostrils as she studied Paolo. "We'll talk." Ajax rested a hand on Marlene's shoulder. "For now, I've missed your cooking. You were looking a bit thin there." She tugged at Ajax's loose shirt. "I think I have a little something to fill your belly. Tell everyone else to come on inside." With a smile, she moved back up the steps and into her log cabin-style home. Ajax woke Himea and Dee, and the 6 of them entered Marlene's home. Booger squeezed in between Orion and Ajax's legs, resting his head under Ajax's hand as Marlene added fold-up chairs around her dining room table. "I knew these would come in handy." After setting the extra chairs at the table, Marlene buzzed around the kitchen. "Let me help." Ajax grabbed a fold-up chair and extended it, adjusting the 2 chairs around it before continuing. "Me too," Dee's tenor voice chimed in. He set the table while Orion assisted with the food, mixing and stirring as Marlene instructed him. Himea and Paolo lingered by the door. The girl crossed her arms over her chest, and Paolo tucked himself behind her. His light brown eyes glued on Marlene. The older woman finally wiped her hands on her jeans and looked at the young couple. "Y'all just going to stand there?" "Mom, can we talk about it?" "Talk about what?" She opened the oven, and the rich scent of cast iron prepared cornbread filled the room. "Talk about me leaving." "After dinner," she huffed. "No, Mom? Let's talk about it now. I'm not going to sit through dinner with you mad at me the whole time." Himea stomped her feet, pushing Paolo away from her as she rushed up to her mother. "Be mad at me for running away. I know you're angry." Marlene sighed. Ajax froze over the last folding chair, hooking it on his forearm as Himea whizzed by him. "Fine, honey, speak." Orion fixed his attention on the casserole mix, turning the thick batter over with a bent spoon. Dee posted himself out of the way, arms folded and a prominent brow bone hiding his dark eyes. I wanted to go avenge Dad. It's not fair what happened to him. You can't be mad at me for it. I can be mad at you for not calling, running off with a stranger, not getting in touch with me at all for several months. Do you know how worried I was? What was I supposed to do? I couldn't send out a search party, I couldn't call the police, nothing. Do you understand this? Marlene dumped heavy prep dishes in the sink. They clattered, and she spun around. Tears wet her wrinkled eyes. I'm sorry, Mom. Himea deflated. I wanted to do something. I couldn't wait here forever, you know, after knowing there was something I could do. And then when I met Paolo and he told me he knew everyone, Himea's voice died in her throat. Oh my God. Marlene snatched Himea into a hug, pressing her daughter's face into her bosom. I'm so lucky you're safe. I'm so happy you're home now. Valeria has missed you too, you know. And without you taking extra hours at the hardware store, it's been just us. Oh. Mom. I'm not staying. Himea wrestled away, stepping out of Marlene's reach. I want to go with them. They're going to train me. Marlene shot a glance at Ajax. Whoa. We didn't say we were for sure going to train her. Ajax's eyes widened and he held his hands up, palms facing the ceiling. It was an option. We're going to train the boy. It was my idea, actually, Orion piped up from over a sink full of dishes. I know you told me to dissuade her, and I tried, but sometimes I think you have to let people make their own decisions. She's too young to make her own decisions. Orion dried his hands and faced Marlene. No, she's not. If you've raised her right, and I know you have, she's ready to make her own decisions. Anguish painted Marlene's face. She grabbed her daughter's hands, squeezing them. Do you really want to do this? I do, Mom. I really do. She won't be in much danger. We're getting away from how we used to be, and trying to fund things without violence. We'll always protect our own, but she won't be on the front lines risking a life in jail or 6 feet under, Ajax explained. Orion nodded. Right. But the skills shouldn't go to waste. Himea looked at her mother again. I want to, Mom. I felt like I was in the right place when I was with them. It felt good. You were always my wild child, Marlene lamented, petting Himea's long hair. If this is what you really want. She nodded. It is. Then okay. But this time you call me every night. Himea nodded. Promise? Good. Marlene hugged her daughter, and after another glare at Orion, she hugged him too. They crowded around the table for dinner as Valeria returned home. The sisters shared a hug while Dee and Ajax served everyone. Ajax sat down between Orion and his father. Marlene sat between her 2 girls, and Paolo sat between Himea and Orion, tucking his hands between his thighs and curling his shoulders together. They ate as a family, chattering about various topics as forks clanked against plates. Requests for more food dotted the lazy conversation, but Paolo's plate stayed untouched. Ajax eyed him. Hey kid, can I talk to you outside? He jutted his chin to Paolo, and the conversation around them died down. Paolo's face ignited. Why yeah. Ajax nodded. Get your plate. He grabbed his own and stalked out of the kitchen, leading Paolo outside onto the porch and sitting down in a polyester outdoor chair. Booger followed them outside, flopping down at Ajax's heels. What's up? Nothing. Ajax picked at the food on his plate, scooping it onto his fork and resuming eating. You ain't got nothing to say? Nah. You seemed awkward in there is all. Paolo looked at his plate. I was fine. Ajax looked at Paolo's plate, and then looked at the younger man. A twinge of sadness stabbed his heart, and he quirked his dark eyebrows together, clearing his throat. The first time I was here, I couldn't eat either. I sat there with everyone around me. Felt out of place. Paolo didn't speak. I'd never been at a family dinner before, you know? I was a wild animal, and they were all civilized. The boy relaxed and bit into the soft buttermilk roll. I won't say you'll ever like it, but it'll get easier. It'll feel, okay after a while. Paolo nodded. You'll fit in here. Ajax squinted into the darkness and nodded. Yeah. You'll do good. The two men finished their food to the music of the wilderness, and Paolo discarded his plate when he was finished. Ajax stacked the plates and offered them to Booger. He licked them clean. Himea joined them outside first and kissed Paolo's cheek. How was dinner? Good, Paolo muttered. We're going to ride my ATV. Have you ever ridden one before? Was it? All-terrain vehicle. Like four-wheeler? Paolo looked at Ajax. You'll like it. Go have fun, Ajax encouraged, sitting back in his seat. The young woman led Paolo down the stairs. Dee and Orion joined them at the base of the stairs after a few minutes, and Ajax carried the plates back inside. He moved into the kitchen, lingering at the door and watching Marlene clear the table before slipping the 2 plates in the sink. Where's Valeria? Oh, she went upstairs to shower. She'll be down soon. Ajax nodded. They're all riding Himea's ATV. I heard. We'll leave in a few hours. Ajax dunked his hands in the soapy warm water, scrubbing sticky food off the plates. I know it. Dee told me. Yeah. Listen, I want you to know I'm going to take care of her. Ajax transferred the clean plates to a sinkful of clear water. I know you're scared to lose her, but I won't let it happen, okay? She's going to live a long time, have a family, everything. Can you promise something like that? Ajax grinned. His dark eyes sparkled, catching the glint of moonlight from the kitchen window. I just did. Epilogue. The sun shined through the gauzy curtains, bathing Orion's tan skin in its creamy glow, and Ajax pulled the other man's bare body closer. Orion curled into him, shrugging his shoulders around his sharp jawline. His tousled bedroom curls swept over lightly freckled shoulders. 10 hours ago, they had snuck away from a late dinner and barricaded themselves in the master bedroom of their home in the woods, locking the door and turning off their cell phones before diving on each other. It had been 3 weeks. 3 weeks of training from morning to night, 3 weeks of constant family time between Dee's proud fatherly moments, Himea's youthful excitement, and Paolo's determination. They were starved for each other. Ajax had etched the image of Orion arched under him in his mind. Orion's desperate cries replayed in his brain, stirring his muscles and waking up exhausted nerve endings. Orion cracked his eyes open, flicking a sleepy gaze up to Ajax. Hi. Hi, Ajax rumbled, trailing a hand down the slope of Orion's torso and resting it at the slight dip between his waist and the start of his hips. His thumb massaged Orion's pointed hips. We should sneak off more often. Yeah? Orion nodded, squirming against Ajax, intertwining their legs and inching closer. I enjoyed last night. Every second of it. His lips moved against Ajax's, and soft puffs of breath tickled his skin. Ajax's heart lodged itself in his throat. Why yeah, he groaned. We could continue. Orion administered a soft kiss to the corners of his lips, quirking his own into a smile. He chuckled. I don't know. You were rough. Things are a little sore. The tips of Ajax's ears burned, and he swallowed, glancing down at the faded sheets. Ah. You could fuck me. I said things are. Orion paused in his playful retort and looked at Ajax again. His discerning stare brought another wave of tingling warmth over Ajax's face, down his neck and over his shoulders. His muscles tensed. I could, yes. Would you like me to? Yeah. Only if it's something you're into, though. Orion's features cleared of his initial shock, and a smile brightened his face. I am. Ah. Now. Can I right now? Orion bolted upright, tossing the blankets off his body. 1 sec. Ajax pulled Orion into a gentle kiss, brushing their lips together. He rested a hand on the back of the other man's neck, holding him in place while his tongue tasted salt and mint from his lips. "Be right back." He moved into the bathroom and worked through his morning routine. Then he wet a towel and swiped it between his legs and along the crease of his ass. His cock had grown soft with the monotony of his routine, but saluted him again with anticipation as he washed sweat and dried cum from his body. He stroked himself until his heart pounded against his ribcage and his muscles clenched with impatience. He combed through black, coily pubic hairs before emerging from the bathroom. Better? Orion had made the bed, tucking faded sheets under the firm mattress and the lumpy comforter around the faded sheets. Ajax stared at his naked body, then his eyes glimpsed the shining stack of condoms at the corner of the bed. "Towel," he croaked. "Need a towel." He ducked back in the bathroom and emerged with a towel over his shoulder. "Jay." Orion reached for him and grabbed his hands as he approached, latticing their fingers together. "Are you nervous?" "A little," Ajax confessed, closing his eyes. "Why?" "It's been a while." "Oh." Orion squeezed his hands and leaned back onto the bed, dragging Ajax on top of him. "We can change that. I'll gladly fuck you whenever you want me to, baby." Ajax's cock twitched in between their bodies. "You like my proposition?" "Yeah," he grunted. "Good." Orion released his hands and roped his arms around Ajax's shoulders. His nails striped his corded muscles and squeezed his biceps. "Face down, ass up." His green eyes sparkled. Ajax groaned, kneading the comforter in tight fists. He stroked himself against Orion's toned stomach. "It's your favorite position, isn't it?" Ajax didn't reply. He lifted off of Orion, slapping Orion's thigh as he straightened up. Orion rolled out of the way, and Ajax laid the towel down across the bed and himself on top of it. He sandwiched his cock between his body and the comforter, and curved himself around the edge of the bed, arching his back and twisting his shoulders. His dark eyelashes brushed his cheeks as Orion grabbed a condom and tore it open. He rolled it over his cock, hiding the swollen pink head and veiny shaft within a sheath of latex. Ajax's heart turned over, skipping beats and alternating between fast and slow. It churned his stomach. "You look sexy like this," Orion whispered, rooting around for a half-empty bottle of lubricant. He coated his fingers, and then swiped them over Ajax's entrance. Ajax wet his lips as Orion's fingers disappeared from his view, and he groaned when they touched him. His eyebrows knit together. When Orion's thumb stroked over him, his hips danced. "Fuck." Ajax added a wavering moan as Orion's thumb pushed into him. The muscles in his back rippled, and a rush of pleasure flooded his nerve endings. His body ached for more. He turned his face away from Orion, sprawling over the bed as the other man continued his lazy exploration. Orion's thumb bridged out of him and circled his entrance, massaging long-neglected skin. "Rye," Ajax breathed, panting. "Fuck me." "I'm getting there." Orion leaned over him, kissing his shoulder and then the back of his neck. His exploring hand retreated, and he guided his cock between Ajax's muscular ass cheeks. One strong hand held Ajax in place as he pushed in inch after inch. "Shit," Ajax groaned. For a moment he held his breath, then he sighed into a heavy exhale, relaxing his muscles. He breathed oxygen into his shoulders, down his spine, and through his thighs, sagging into the bed as he lifted his hips for the other man. Orion opened him, and he stretched to accommodate. The slide of Orion's firm cock against sensitive skin inspired a series of frustrated moans. "Are you okay?" Orion's breath ghosted along Ajax's shoulder as he rooted himself inside and paused there. The back of Ajax's neck tingled, and he swirled his hips. "Yeah." His cock kicked again, and beads of pre-cum wet the towel and his torso. Orion ran his hand along the center of Ajax's torso, smoothing his fingers over his shoulder blades and fisting the small of his back, forcing him into a deeper arch as his hips moved. Orion fucked him steadily with one long stroke inside of him, and a long stroke back in the other direction. He teased him. "More," Ajax shifted, lifting his chest off the bed, leaving a pool of moisture behind. Orion obliged, and Ajax's arousal grew. The feel of Orion's cock sliding in and out of him was dizzying. The fullness was intoxicating. Ajax alternated from propped up on his hands to resting on his elbows to collapsed into the bed, turning his head from side to side as shivers of pleasure traveled up his spine. Orion's pace quickened as he continued, until his hips dug into Ajax's ass with each thrust. Ajax dropped his head between his shoulders. A sheen of sweat cooled his blazing skin. He glimpsed his leaking cock, swaying each time Orion thrust him forward. Then he leaned his head back, and his sweat-soaked hair clung to his face. Ajax pushed himself further up, and Orion hooked his arms around the other man's shoulders. Ajax's cock leaked. His excitement traveled down his shaft in bubbling waves. Orion forced it out of him, along with rhythmic groans. "You're gonna make me come." "I'd hope," Orion teased, slamming into him once and releasing one arm. His hand walked down the center of Ajax's body, and his fingers curled around his throbbing cock. Ajax thrust into Orion's hand and turned his head to the side as his cheeks burned. Trapped between Orion's hand and Orion's body, speared by his cock, Ajax's orgasm raced up on him. He laced his fingers with Orion's other hand, kissing the bones of his wrist as he moved his hips. His breath came in heavy bursts with deep moans as accents. Orion sent him over the edge, but it wasn't earth-shattering. It was rolling and endless. Ajax tightened around him, and every muscle in his torso clenched, rippling under his skin. The first wave of pleasure robbed him of breath. His muscles tightened, released, and clamped up again, and he gasped at every following wave of pleasure, panting as he melted into the bed. The other man moved inside him with sweet moans taunting his ears. His cock swelled inside Ajax and then pulsed, throbbing through his own orgasm. Ajax collapsed forward into the bed, aftershocks of pleasure zapping raw nerves. Orion bent over him, planting both hands on the bed and moving his hips in circles. He tossed his hair over his shoulder. "You are so sexy," Orion crooned. Ajax closed his eyes. Orion relaxed on top of him, resting his head between his shoulder blades. His cock softened inside Ajax and slipped out of him as they basked in the afterglow of an orgasm before breakfast. Ajax closed his eyes and cracked them open hours later when the sun had migrated through the sky. He fell asleep again, and it was well into early afternoon before he woke. Orion was no longer on top of him, and he rolled onto his back, gathering his bearings as he pushed sleep from his mind. "Rye," Ajax croaked. "In here." Orion poked his head out of the bathroom. "It's afternoon. Come back to bed." Orion purred. He had dressed in Ajax's mental absence and crawled into the bed next to him, rubbing rough cotton over Ajax's bare skin. "Thank you for being amazing. I can get you something to eat." Orion teased Ajax's nipples. "Not hungry." Ajax gripped Orion's arm. "Stay in bed for at least a few more minutes." Okay." He traced Ajax's areolas. Ajax shuddered. "I love you." "I know you do. I love you too." Orion smiled, nuzzling his shoulder. He settled his face in the crook of Ajax's armpit. "I've never seen you sleep so well. Now I know what to do when you're keeping me up at night." Ajax chuckled. "We'll see. I could go again. I'm already dressed and half the day is gone. So tempting, but you really should at least eat." Orion kissed his nose. "I'll bring you something." Orion slithered out of his grasp and dunked his feet into scuffed leather boots before opening the bedroom door. "Oh. Hi." Ajax blinked. "Not a funny joke, babe. Y'all planning to come up for air or what?" Dee's growling voice filtered into the room. "God damn it." Ajax bolted upright, ripping the tucked comforter loose and covering his lap. He matted his hair down and squinted. "I was coming for food," Orion offered. "Aha." Orion ducked past Dee, and Ajax watched him turn the corner into the kitchen before looking back at the older man. "Why missed huntin' this mornin', and we're gettin' low on meat." "Sorry. Slept in." Sounded like it. Get y'all dressed and we can go snag a couple squirrels with the last hours of daylight. The boy's gonna come with us. Ajax closed his eyes. Why? 'Cause he needs to practice. Himena's a real good shot, so she's talking the even and off physical training and working with Orion on the computer or whatever. Right? Look, I'll be out in a minute. You better. Dee looked him over before uncrossing his arms. I must say something. I'm your pops, so I probably won't like anyone you get with, but if it's between Chris and Orion, I much prefer Orion. Right, thanks Dee. He builds ya up rather'n tearing ya down. Or shoulders broader and ya stand taller with Orion next to ya. Yeah, step out so I can get dressed. Yup. We'll be ready in 'bout an hour. Dee traded places with Orion, who had returned with 2 plates of food. Orion kicked the door closed behind him and rested the plates on the counter. Ajax dressed and ate, picking at the food as he threw a shirt over his chest and jeans over his bottom half. He added an old sweatshirt and stuffed his feet in his boots, knotting the laces and tucking them inside the flaps. He captured Orion's lips in a firm kiss before releasing him, taking their empty plates to the kitchen, and meeting Dee and Paolo outside next to a black truck.